And here are the starting lineups for this afternoon's ball game as the Brewers conclude a 3-game set here at Comiskey Park. The White Sox trying to make it 3 in a row over Milwaukee. Here's the starting lineup for the visiting Brewers. Leading off and playing third base, Paul Molitor. Batting second in center field, Darrell Hamilton. Batting third, the designated hitter, Robin Yount. Batting cleanup in left field, Jeffrey Leonard. Batting fifth in right field, Rob Deere. Batting sixth, first baseman Billy Joe Robideau. Batting seventh, shortstop Dale Swaim. Batting eighth and doing the catching, Bill Schroeder. Batting ninth, second baseman Jimmy Gantner. And on the mound for the Brewers, right-hander Don August. He is 1-1 on the season. This will be his first start against the White Sox and only his second start of the season for the Brewers. Let's take a look at the White Sox lineup. Leading off and playing left field, Gary Reedus. Batting second, third baseman Steve Lyons. Batting third, the designated hitter, Harold Baines. Batting cleanup in right field, Ivan Calderon. Batting fifth and playing first base, Greg Walker. Batting sixth, center fielder, Darrell Boston. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Mark Salas. Batting eighth, shortstop Ozzie Guillen. And batting ninth, second baseman Donnie Hill. And on the mound for the White Sox, right-hander Joel Davis. Davis is only making his second start since joining the White Sox. He does not have a decision, and this, of course, his first start against the Milwaukee club this year. We'll be back with the first pitch of this afternoon's ball game and Lauren Brown right after this on the White Sox Radio Network.
Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, every day on WMAQ, All News 67.
The White Sox, Chicago White Sox. Baseball's the name of the game, the Chicago White Sox way.
White Sox baseball on WMAQ, All News 67. Today's game sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. By Amoco Ultimate Lead-Free Premium. Amoco, your car knows. By True Value, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business. By Miller High Life. Miller made the American way since 1855. By your Heritage Banks, a fine tradition in banking services for your family and business. By Benjamin Moore Paints, insist on more, don't settle for less. By Jay's Potato Chips, so crisp and natural, folks just can't stop eating them. By Henry K. Jewelers, third level water tower, and on Michigan Avenue. And by Sherwin-Williams, for paint, wall covering, window treatment, or floor coverings. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Lauren Brown at Comiskey Park. The lineups have been exchanged, and Tom Trebelhorn and Rich Garcia, the crew chief of this umpiring crew, had a long battle in last night's ball game, and they were talking it over friendly this afternoon as the lineups were being exchanged. So I'm sure, like all good umpires and managers really too, it's another day, and those things have a tendency to be forgotten. Hopefully that's the way it is here, as Trebelhorn was tossed out in yesterday's ball game. The umpiring crew, John Hirschbeck, one of the better home plate umpires on balls and strikes, will be behind the plate. Rich Garcia, the crew chief, at first. Rick Reed is back in action. He'll be at second base, and Dale Scott will be the umpire down at third. We have just an outstanding afternoon for baseball. We started the ball game last night. The temperature was about 87, 88 degrees, and I'm sure it's going to get to that here this afternoon. It's a bright, sunshiny afternoon, not a cloud in the sky. So these are the kinds of days after a night game, although it was a 6 o'clock ball game last night, where the pitchers have a tendency to dominate. The hitters have to come back after night at the ballpark, and sometimes your reactions just aren't quite as quick coming back day game after a night game. But once again, it was a 6 o'clock ball game, so it wasn't one of these things where you get back home and get to bed about 1 o'clock and then have to go back at it again in the afternoon. So should be a great day for the game of baseball. Joel Davis is on the mound, who has had some success against this Brewer ball club, so hopefully it's a good day for him. Let's take a look at the White Sox defensively. Gary Reedus in left field, Darrell Boston in center, Ivan Calderon in right, Steve Lyons at third, Ozzie Guillen the shortstop, Donnie Hill getting his first start since the 3rd of the month. He'll be at second base. Greg Walker at first base. Mark Salas will be behind the plate. And on the mound, right-hander Joel Davis. Davis with a good, hard fastball. He also throws a hard curveball, and he did throw some change-ups in his last start, although not as many as I'm sure that the White Sox staff would like to have him do. If you throw a hard fastball and a hard curveball, the hitters really don't have anything off speed to look for, and when you make a mistake, they're usually right on one of those two pitches. So Davis hopefully can mix in a changeup and make good pitches with his fastball and his curveball. This broadcast is authorized by the White Sox Baseball Club. It is intended solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast or other use without the express written consent of the White Sox Baseball Club is prohibited. The announcers on the broadcast are selected and paid by WMAQ Radio. Let's take a look at our trivia question. The question, who is the National League third baseman who hit 28 home runs in his rookie year? Well, this was kind of a tough one because a lot of names come to mind. Schmidt, Matthews, a lot of players in the National League, but the answer is Tim Wallach, who did it in 1982 as a rookie with the Expos. So we didn't have a big winner, but Gene Chapsky of Calumet City called in with the guess of Ron Santo, but he's still a $10 Sherwin-Williams gift certificate winner just for trying. Paul Molitor about ready to step in and start this ball game off as Joel Davis looks in and ready to face him, and here looking in and facing that mic, Lorne Brown.
All right, Del, thank you very much. Gorgeous Sunday afternoon here at Comiskey Park. Joel Davis, 3-1 lifetime against the Brewers, delivers outside a ball, won his first major league game against Milwaukee. 3-1 lifetime. Well, I imagine a lot of people cleaning out. Here's the pitch, swing, and a base hit to left by Molitor. Second hit in the series. Paulie coming into today's game. He's on his way to second. The throw in time. Boy, I looked down to put down a single, which he gets, and I looked up, and he was headed to second, and he was gunned down.
Lauren, the only thing that beat him out of the double was when he started to make his approach to round first base. He stepped on the edge of the grass that separates the grass and the infield dirt there, and he lost his footing. And Boston went down, lost his footing, but he got up very quickly and made a good throw to second base as both of them got up, but Boston was the winner as he threw him out.
And Molitor came to the outside part of the bag. Otherwise, had he come in straight or to the inside, he would have been safe. Ran right into the tag by Guillen as Darrell Hamilton is the batter. Darrell played in the first game of this series. He's 4 for 9 since coming up from Denver with 2 runs driven in. Out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He hit .292 as he takes ball 2. .292, no homers, 23 runs driven in with 10 stolen bases at Denver. Went to the University High School there in Baton Rouge. Here's the delivery, and a strike caught the outside corner. 6'1", 180-pounder, 23 years of age. This is only his 3rd year in professional baseball, and he's in the big leagues, playing in center field today. Here's the pitch, and it's butted foul to the left side, 2-2.
Well, they say he can run. That's one of his big assets. Is not going to hit the ball with much power, but he can run, is a good outfielder, has an average arm for a center fielder, but with his speed, he can go get him.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Boston waylaying Toronto today, 7-0 in the 3rd after losing 6 straight to the Blue Jays the last 2 weekends. Right-hander ready in the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a foul out of play. Well, the Oakland A's became the first team in the majors to reach 40 wins with a 13-4 rout of Texas, or rout. And Oakland, if you've got him in the 13-run pool, you're a winner. Dave Stewart going for his 10th win today against the Rangers. Charlie Huff going for Texas. Strike 3 called, fastball on the outside corner.
Salas set up outside, and Davis hit his glove.
John Hirschbeck, one of the best balls and strikes umpires in the league, according to the players, back there this afternoon. Charlie Huff a year ago, Dell, was 4-0 with an 0.52 earned run average against Oakland. A little different team, though, this year.
Yes.
You've got Baylor, you've got Henderson, you've got Parker as the pitch is high a ball to Robin Yount. Robin, the designated hitter today, hitting .276. 7 homers, 29 runs driven in. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss. Larry Haney back with the ball club. The Brewers, he was gone. Son's graduation. Oh, we have a new first base coach today. Andy Etcheverry is down the lines.
And he is really keeping his eye on Joel Davis. I don't know if he thinks he can pick something up and give it to the hitters or not.
Here's the pitch, and it's fouled back.
Dave Hilton has been the first base coach for the Brewers the last couple of ball games.
Tony Muser over at third. A ball and 2 strikes to Yount. 2 for 8 in the series. Hit into a big double play in the 9th last night. Here's the pitch. And he just missed outside. More importantly, grounded out to short with the tying run at third and the go-ahead run at second with 2 out in that 6th inning. When the Brewers at one time had runners at first and third, nobody out. Here's the 2-2 delivery to Yount. Swing and a base hit to left center field. Got in on him, and Robin just punched it up the middle, and the second hit of the inning.
It's the reason he's such a good hitter and has been over many years in the major leagues. That if you get the ball in on him, he is able to get his hands in close and inside out the pitch. That time, not a true inside out swing, but to hit that ball to center field like he did, you still have to get those hands in close and get the meat of the bat on the ball, and he did it.
Well, yesterday the Yankees had a big league over Baltimore. Steve Shields came on, gave up a couple of runs, and today they said, adios, Steve. They've optioned Steve Shields to Columbus of the International League, and they've activated East Chicago, Indiana product Tim Stoddard from the disabled list. Jeff Leonard, the batter, 2 for 9 in the series, takes a ball up and in. Well, I'll tell you, if he ever believed that baloney that they did not throw inside in the American League, he has found out in this series.
That's right. All 3 ball games have been about the same thing, 1 or 2 each game.
Pitchers will throw in this league. Right-hander ready, and the delivery, and he goes outside and misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Joe falling behind most hitters here in this inning. Davis at Vancouver was 4-1 with a 2.59 earned run average. Talking to Danny Plesac before the game, he says that is a great park for pitchers.
Sure is.
Here's the delivery. Swing and a foul to the right side. To this day, George Bamberger is still a hero in Vancouver, Canada.
Is he?
Great pitcher there. Was in the big leagues once with the Giants, so he wanted to go back to Vancouver. Well, you know, in those days, those guys made more money in the PCL than they did in the big leagues.
Yep. That was the Pacific Coast League for you. They had some great franchises. Vancouver came along a little bit later in the existence of the Pacific Coast League. They did not have any club out of the country in the days when I was growing up, but it was an outstanding league.
2 balls and a strike. Right-hander out of the stretch, and the delivery. Swinging a foul upstairs. It's up, comes back down off a fan's hands. Past a Brewers sitting at the edge of the dugout and onto the field where Andy Etcheverry has it. Flips it to the player who missed it, who flips it to a youngster in the first row. Who is that, Joey Meyer down there?
Looks like it.
Joey, hard to miss. He is solid. Talked to him today and said he'd like to meet Joey Meyer, the basketball coach at DePaul. And I said, well, you missed him this weekend. He's up going to Wisconsin for their basketball camp for Coach Ray as the pitch is outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. But he knew all about Joey Meyer despite the fact he's from Southern California. A full count. Robin Yount at first, 2 outs. Speaking of Vancouver, they had their 3-game winning streak snapped by Edmonton last night. There goes the runner, the pitch. Hit on the line, right to Ozzie Guillen at short. And that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on. So we're at the end. Make that 1 man left on at the end of a half inning of play. Milwaukee nothing. The White Sox coming to bat on the White Sox Radio Network.
There's no score here at Comiskey as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Defensively for the Brewers, it'll be Jeffrey Leonard in left field, Darrell Hamilton in center field, Rob Deere in right, Paul Molitor at third base, Dale Swaim the shortstop, Jimmy Gantner at second base. Billy Joe Robideau will be the first baseman this afternoon. Bill Schroeder will be behind the plate, and Don August will be on the mound. 24 years old. He throws a sinker, curveball, slider, and changeup. Will throw more curveballs than he will the slider, but he has to keep the ball down and tries to hit the corners with that sinker.
Well, other baseball today in the National League. The Cubs are at St. Louis today. Maddox 10-3 going against Tudor 2-1. Cubs did not score in the first. Cardinals now batting. Philadelphia leading at Pittsburgh 3-1 at the end of 2. Gross against Fisher. The Mets, who've lost 4 in a row, take on Montreal, who's won 3 straight. No score at the end of 3. Fernandez against Smith. Later, Atlanta at Houston. Mailer against Scott. It'll be L.A. at San Diego. Belcher and Whitson. The Padres have won 3 in a row. And Cincinnati at San Francisco. Jackson going against Downs. Gary Reedus will lead it off. Gary, 0 for 5 in the series. Hitless in his last 10 at-bats, and the pitch a called strike, hitting .255. 3 homers, 13 runs driven in. Well, you're talking about coming back from a day game after a night game, Dell. Both clubs making some changes. Here's a swing and a shot down the left field line. In there for extra bases. Leonard plays it off the wall, and Reedus breaks an 0 for 10 with a leadoff double. But Reedus not in the starting lineup last night, nor Donnie Hill, while the Brewers have 3 fellas in their starting lineup today that did not start last night.
Well, there was a hanging slider right there for Gary, and he didn't miss it. He lashed it up against that wall, and Jeff Leonard was able to catch a bad carom off the wall. He got to it barehanded and held Reedus to a double.
Steve Lyons, the game-winning RBI in last night's game. Steve hitting .284, a homer, 9 runs driven in. He's had hits in his last 9 of his last 10 games. 13 for 36 with 4 RBIs. Dan August from Mission Viejo. I keep forgetting I think that's Joe Keogh's hometown. The great Keogh baseball family. Here's the pitch, high outside a ball. In fact, Marty Keogh, that's Joe's brother, used to play, I think, with the A's as a scout in that area for the Cardinals.
I played against Marty at one time.
And Marty's son later pitched for the Oakland A's.
Is that Matt?
Matt. I think he might be in somebody's minor league system. Still trying to get it together. August's first pitch of ball. Here's the second delivery, and it's bunted. And it goes foul. Schroeder picked it up about 5 feet down the line. August, out of high school, attended Chapman College in Orange, California, and then was drafted by the Yankees. Played in Columbus. Played on the U.S. Olympic team. So that it was his greatest thrill in baseball. He was acquired from the Astros. Actually started out with the Astros. When I saw Columbus, I thought New York, but that's Columbus, Georgia. Went from Columbus to Tucson. Then he came over to the Brewers in exchange for Danny Darwin. Mark Knudsen also coming over in that deal. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-hander ready. And the delivery. Lyons going to bunt again. He does, and it goes foul once again.
Well, don't give up on him, because Steve Lyons has done an outstanding job at advancing the runners in situations like this. When called upon to sacrifice, he has been able to do it. When he has been asked to get a runner from second to third, he has been able to do it. So he still has the bat in his hand. Now he will try to pull the ball and hit it on the ground, hopefully, and get Reedus on to third. A ball and 2 strikes.
Right-hander ready in the pitch. Swings away and fouls it off upstairs. Molitor still playing up, looking for the bunt, despite 2 strikes. Steve has done that before.
This is that battle that goes on. Bill Schroeder set up outside, and Don August made a good pitch through a hard sinker out there, and it almost makes it impossible for a left-handed hitter to pull that pitch. One of the things a left-handed hitter can do is to move up on the plate. That'll bring that outside pitch a little bit closer to him and have a chance to pull it.
A 1-2 delivery on the way. Swinging a tapper to the right side. He'll get the job done. First baseman has it. Robideau flips to the pitcher covering just in time. Almost a collision over there. But Lyons gets the job done. It goes as an out for Lyons, but he advanced the runner, gets a big hand as he goes to the dugout.
Yes, sir. Big play, and you have to give the pitcher or the catcher a little bit of credit for that one, because he took something off of a pitch. Lyons was able to get out in front and just hit the little roller, and an outstanding play by both the first baseman Robideau and August to retire Lyons.
And I'll tell you, that throw by Robideau was right at the side of August.
Sir.
He did a good job grabbing that ball. Lyons diving in head first. Harold Baines the batter, and he pops one foul down the left side. Harold hitting .241, 7 homers, 22 runs driven in.
Brewer infield back in this situation. They're going to allow Baines to drive in a run if he hits the ball to any of the infielders. All of them are back. In another situation, the Brewer infield played in.
Here's the pitch, low ball. Now, you said you'd like to play your infield in. Would you do it in the first inning?
Sure, I did it. The only thing that, and I know that this is something that you can argue about, but I never knew what the score was going to be at the end of 9 innings. I didn't know how important this run was going to be.
Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss.
The only thing that you're really gambling against when you play your infield in here is have a ball dribble through the infield, drive in that run, and then get involved in a big inning. And all the years that I managed in the minor leagues and the major leagues, I never got into one of those situations where it led to a big inning. So I just felt like my percentages of trying to cut that run off at home plate paid off in the long run.
Wind blowing out today from home towards center. Here's the delivery to Baines, a fastball, 1 hop back to the mound. Here's the throw to first, and Reedus had notions of coming down the line, but Robideau got it in a hurry and held him at third, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, the throws were so short then that Reedus did not like his chances. He did try to disrupt August as much as possible, as he did come way down the line, but with a short throw from the pitcher to first base and then the first baseman home, Reedus would not have had a chance.
Ivan Calderon, the batter, hitting .211, 13 homers, 29 runs driven in. Here's the delivery, and a strike in the outside corner. Ivan broke an 0 for 12 here the other night. Since then, he's had 3 hits in his last 5 at-bats with an RBI.
These are the little things that can go against you. Baines hit the ground ball, but didn't quite get it to an infielder.
Here's the delivery. Outside the ball. Calderon going to try to make it a moot point by singling in a run at least. Stay tuned for the Miller Lite WMAQ Player of the Game to be announced immediately following the conclusion of today's game. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss. A $100 donation on the player's behalf will go to the Shy Sox kids in the fight against terminal illness in children, courtesy of Miller Lite. Looks like he's got a pretty good breaking ball.
He does have. He threw a good curveball that time. A good location, good break.
Got one to Baines as well. Here's the delivery. Swing and a base hit to left. Reedus scores, and it's a 1-0 ball game.
Bad location on that breaking ball as he hung it to Ivan Calderon, and Calderon can hit that ball, and he lined it into left for an RBI. For Calderon, gives him 30 for the year.
Well, since Danny O'Brien gave him that old White Sox helmet, worn in the Dick Allen era that he uses in batting practice, he's had 4 hits in his last 6 at-bats with 2 runs driven in. They knew it'd bring him luck. Some of the guys calling him Dick Allen when he wears it. Here's the pitch, the runner going, the throw to second, not in time. Stolen base for Calderon.
Calderon running a little bit more. That's his 4th stolen base of the season. He's only been thrown out a couple of times, so Jim Fregosi starting to turn the White Sox loose.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is the 10th game of this homestand, and the White Sox have stolen 19 bases in 20 attempts. And the only man thrown out was really a pickoff play, but it goes as a caught stealing as Guillen was headed to second. So nobody has really been thrown out at second by a catcher in his homestand. A pitch, a swing, and a miss to Greg Walker.
One of the things that really helps your running game, too, Lauren, is that the White Sox really haven't been wasting any time. They've been going on the first pitch or second pitch. They're not waiting to get deep into the count where the hitter has a tendency to swing and foul them off. They are giving the runners an opportunity to steal.
They wanted... Well, the umpire went out. Hirschbeck, I thought he wanted a ball, just pointed out there. Walker with a 4-game hitting streak, 7 hits in his last 16 at-bats with 3 RBIs. Hitting .249, 2 homers, 23 RBIs for the season. Right-hander from the stretch. And the pitch. Swing and a tapper to third. Molitor has it, throws across in time, and that retires the side. But in the inning, the White Sox get on the board with 1 run on 2 hits and a runner stranded at second. So at the end of 1, Chicago 1, Milwaukee nothing on the White Sox Radio Network. Before we go to the second inning, the White Sox leading the Brewers 1-0. Let's pause 10 seconds for identification on the Chicago White Sox Radio Network.
This is the home of White Sox baseball. All News 67 WMAQ Chicago.
Rob Deere will lead it off as we go to the second. Joel Davis and the White Sox with a 1-0 lead. Joel gave up 2 hits in that first inning, got out of it. 3 well-hit balls, Molitor, Yount, and Leonard. He'll face Deere here, who's hitting .223, 8 homers, 33 runs driven in. Right-hander ready in the delivery. And a fastball strike in the outside corner. In the American League today, Baltimore is at New York, leading the Yankees by a score of 2-0, bottom of the 4th. That's the rubber match of the 3-game series. Tibbs going against Tommy John. Hudson in relief in the 4th. Here's the pitch outside of ball. Tigers trying to win 4 in a row at Cleveland. Tigers have already won 4 straight. They've beaten Cleveland 3 in a row, and they lead the Tribe 5-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the delivery, and a strike in the outside corner. That man again, Luis Salazar, his 6th home run, a 2-run shot in the second inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rob Deere. Right-hander ready in the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out in a high fastball. Second strikeout for Davis. And Mr. Deere is struck out 3 times in the series. Boston really struggling of late, but they are beating up on Toronto. The Blue Jays, who have won 8 of their last 11, 6 straight over Boston the last 2 weekends. But it's Boston 7, Toronto 2 at the end of 3. Greenwell his 8th home run of the year with 2 men aboard in a 5-run first inning. Here's a swing and a foul to the right side by Billy Joe Robideau. Making his first appearance of 1988. Was hitting .276 at Denver. 7 homers, 26 runs driven in. Here's the pitch, and a breaking ball strike, and he's in the hole 0-2. Later, Kansas City at California. Power against Frazier. Minnesota at Seattle. Lee against Swifts. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul out of play. The only late game last night, Seattle beat Minnesota 3-2, snapping the Twins' 3-game winning streak. And a night game tonight, Oakland at Texas. Dave Stewart going against Charlie Huff. Oakland lost 5 in a row. They've come back to win the last 2 over Texas. Here's a pitch just missed in the outside corner. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, 1 hop back to the mound. Joel Davis has it, throws him out.
Davis almost did something that time that you're taught right from the beginning when you get into professional ball. I would imagine colleges teach the same thing. He caught the ball and came around ready to make the throw, and then all of a sudden he decided that's not the way I was taught. Let's get my feet under me, wait till Walker gets to the bag, and then he made a good firm throw.
Dale Swaim, the batter, had a third of the Brewers' hits last night as he went 3 for 4, hitting .273, 6 homers, 26 runs driven in. Here's the pitch inside a ball. White Sox leading by a score of 1-0. Here's the delivery outside a ball. White Sox #1 draft choice a couple of years back out of Northwestern. Grady Hall started the year at Vancouver, sent to Birmingham. Here's the 2-0 pitch. High, ball 3. And Grady notched his first shutout of the year with a 5-hitter over Memphis last night. 8-0. Birmingham won. Grady, the #1 draft choice in '86 out of Northwestern, walked 3, struck out 8. Here's the 3-0 delivery and a strike called. They had over 6,000 in Birmingham to watch that game last night. Tony Menendez, 0-6, goes this afternoon. Here's the delivery, and it's fouled off down the left side. Now, they played at Birmingham, and now they say they're playing at Memphis this afternoon. How could that be? You wouldn't go play a night game in Birmingham and go to Memphis for an afternoon game.
You wouldn't think so. However,
the next day.
It's the minor leagues. You never know.
The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Good job of pitching by Davis, who had fallen behind in the count. 3-0. Strikes him out. His third strikeout of the afternoon on a 3-2 delivery. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the second. The White Sox 1, the Brewers nothing.
Oh, we'd like to say hello to some of the people listening in on the great stations carrying the White Sox broadcasts in Indiana, WSAL in Logansport, WGOM in Marion, WRIN in Rensselaer, WAYT in Wabash, in Iowa, KCHA in Charles City, and down in Florida, WQSA in Sarasota.
Darrell Boston with a great night last night leads it off here in the second inning. Darrell lined out his first time up last night. He had been 0 for 13. Then he homered and then he tripled. Scored 2 runs as he wound up going 2 for 4 last night. Here's the pitch outside of ball. The Sox have scored 6 runs in this series against the Brewers, and Boston has scored 3 of them.
Both of his extra base hits led to discussions, didn't it, by Tom Trebelhorn?
Here's the pitch. Doesn't have to argue about that. A single up the middle.
Boy, he is really swinging the bat well. And once again, you're a young ball player like Darrell Boston, and you have come up the last couple of years, and you've been kind of a disappointment. You just have not been able to take charge and play every day. And he has had to battle his way back in, and he's kept his chin up. He has worked hard, and he has really hit the ball well the last couple of days.
Well, he has stolen 2 bases in his last 3 games. Didn't have to do it last night with a home run and a triple. See if he'll be going here. Mark Salas, the batter, hitting .286. 2 homers, 6 runs driven in. Mark with a base hit RBI last night in 3 trips. In fact, he's had 3 hits in his last 7 at-bats with a homer, 2 runs driven in. Paul Molitor up on the grass at third. Robideau holding the runner on. There goes Boston. Here's the pitch. The throw to second. Not in time. Another stolen base for the White Sox. 20 out of 21 in this homestand.
Don August gives you a little bit of running time. He has not shown a real good move, which is going to keep the runner close to the bag at first. Schroeder got the ball away quickly. Didn't make a bad throw, but just too good a jump and too much running time for Boston as he slides in just ahead of the tag.
The pitch was a strike to Salas. Here's the delivery. He's going to bunt. Takes it outside a ball. Darrell now with 3 stolen bases in his last 4 games. In reality, the White Sox have stolen 20 bases in this 10-game homestand without being thrown out. The only man thrown out was actually picked off by the pitcher, Teddy Aguirre, the other night. Right-hander ready. And the delivery. Way outside. 2 balls and a strike. Today's sure winner in the WMAQ Sherwin-Williams Sure Win contest is Joe Berry from Monmouth, Illinois. You know where Monmouth is?
Nope.
Did you ever hear of Galesburg, Illinois?
Yep.
It's a suburb of Monmouth. Galesburg is a suburb of Monmouth. I'll really get them all upset. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. He'll get the runner to third. Throw over by Jimmy Gantner in time. And there's 1 out. Second straight inning. The White Sox have had a runner at third with 1 down. Salas gets a big hand. That's one thing about these White Sox fans. They always appreciate when a feller at fella advances a runner.
Yeah, it has amazed me since I have been here. They really do understand the way the game is supposed to be played.
Well, they did not bring their infield in the first inning. They do it here in the second. As Ozzie Guillen steps up, Oswaldo had his 4-game hitting streak snapped last night. Still has 7 hits in his last 18 at-bats with 5 RBIs. Make it 6 as he singles sharply past Jimmy Gantner into right field for his 6th run driven in his last 6 games.
Well, August got the ball up. Got the ball up to Ozzie, and he was right there, and he drilled it past a diving Gantner. And once again, this is a gamble that a manager has to take. And he decided he wanted to have his infield in this situation, and Ozzie just hit it right past the diving Gantner.
So Joe Barry of Monmouth is our Sherwin contestant today. White Sox victory will be worth a $50 Sherwin-Williams gift certificate for every Sox winning run up to $200. Should the Sox lose, Joe will get a $10 Sherwin-Williams gift certificate. Join the Sherwinners. We'll tell you how in just a moment. As Donnie Hill steps up, Donnie making his first start since the 3rd of June.
Lauren, you're liable to see a pitch out here.
Toss over to first, the runner back.
White Sox have been running on the first pitch in today's ball game, and they have been running early in the count in these last few ball games.
Toss to first again, and August sends him back. Stop by any Sherwin-Williams store if you want to be a Sherwinner. Fill out an entry blank, or you can send a postcard with your name, address, home and work phone number to WMAQ All News 67 Sherwin Contest. There goes the runner. The pitch, no pitch out. A throw to second, not in time, and Guillen is safe.
Shortstop Dale Swaim is arguing a little bit, but in just about, in all 3 stolen bases here this afternoon, it's been just the same kind of a tag. It looks like that Schroeder is getting the ball down there as well as he can, but the White Sox just getting a good jump in running time off of August, and the tag following the runner in as they get their foot on the bag, and the tag follows them right in, and that's just looks like that's exactly what happened then.
Our Sherwin Contest address, the Merchandise Mart Plaza, Chicago, Illinois, 60654. Be a Sherwinner with Sherwin-Williams and WMAQ All News 67. And a reminder, our big payoff inning today will be in the 4th. The pitch to Donnie Hill was a called strike. Here's the delivery, and it's outside a ball. Donnie hitless in his last 7 at-bats. Well, the youngster from Libertyville, Mark McSudian, 3 hits last night for South Bend as they defeated Wausau up in Wisconsin 8-3. Here's the delivery, outside a ball. Another localite, Kurt Hassler, who attended Bradley University from Roanoke, Illinois, went to school down at Roanoke. Benson was the winner. He's now 5-7, struck out 8 in that game. Two balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Ball 3 is low.
It's been a saying around baseball forever, Lauren. I've never agreed with it, but when you throw over to first base, you don't follow a throw over to first base with a pitch out. I have never really quite been able to figure out exactly why.
Here's the delivery. Ball 4 outside. Walked him on 4 straight pitches after getting out in front of the count. 1 strike.
But one of the things that they say, we're going to have a mound visit by Chuck Hartenstein. And one of the things that they say, you push the runner back, you may shorten their lead, and therefore you waste the pitch out. As Odell Jones, a right-hander, begins to throw for the Brewers. But most of your good base stealers like to go after they've seen the move to first base. So I'm not sure that that old-time saying holds any water today.
Is the batter. Led off the first inning with a double for the White Sox. Scored their first run. 2 on, 1 out. White Sox lead 2-0. August in his 2nd consecutive start after 1 relief appearance. Had allowed only 1 run in 9 1/3 innings prior to today's game. Right-hander ready in the pitch. And he takes a strike in the outside corner. The Brewers lead the American League in earned run average at 3.33. They have won 30. They have lost 30. Having dropped 5 of their last 6 games. Here's a pickoff attempt at second. Ozzie Guillen back in time. White Sox trying to move within 5 games of 500. They have won 26. They've lost 32. Brewers playing their 61st game of the year. The White Sox, their 59th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And he's in the hole. 2 strikes. He could throw that good breaking ball every once in a while. Got one to Baines, to Walker, and now to Reedus.
And, yeah, threw one to Calderon also that he looked bad on, and then followed it up with a breaking ball, and Calderon ripped it to left for an RBI.
2 on, 1 out, a 2-strike count to Reedus. Here's the pitch. Swing and a shot to Molitor. 1 hop over to second for 1. The relay just in time, a double play around the horn. 5-4, 3 and out. But the White Sox add another run on 2 hits and 1 man left on. At the end of 2, Chicago 2, Milwaukee nothing on the White Sox Radio Network.
Make your plans now to attend a White Sox game with a group of your friends, and you can take advantage of special half-price group bargain nights. Remember, Sox baseball is always more fun when it's enjoyed with a group. Call the Sox Group sales office Monday through Friday during regular business hours at number 924-1000, and they'll give you information on group outings, private parties, and fundraisers.
Bill Schroeder will lead it off for the Brewers. Schroeder doing the catching today. As the pitches foul back, you'd mentioned Surhoff earlier, but Schroeder's throws, as Dell had said, were right on the money, but Swaim's tags a hair late as the White Sox have stolen 3 bases. They lead it here by a score of 2-0 as Schroeder looks at a ball. Schroeder has played in only 18 games, hitting .143 with a homer, 3 runs driven in. Here's the delivery, and it's outside a ball. As I recall, he's always hit the White Sox well.
He's strong. There's no question about it. He has some holes in his swing. If you can get the ball in on him, he has trouble with that pitch.
Here's the 2-1 delivery. That was in on him with a fastball, and he swings and misses. 2 balls and a strike. Well, you just wish this fella could have stayed healthy every year.
Yes.
Brewers really have never had a great look at him over an extended period of time because he has been injured. Here's the delivery. Swing and a shot hit to left. Coming over to get it on the hop into foul territory is Reedus, and Schroeder will be held to a single as Gary gets the ball back in. Laid one right in there for him with a breaking ball after having him in the hole 1 and 2.
Well, there's a little bit of difference in what kind of pitch and the location when you try to get the ball in on a hitter. That ball was in on him. However, it was down a little bit. When you go in on a hitter, basically you want to try to stay up above the belt.
The Montreal Expos have signed infielder Tom Foley to a contract for the '89 season and an option for the '90 season. News coming out of Montreal as Jim Gantner steps up, hitting .269, no homers, 14 runs driven in. Gantner 1 for 7 in the series. Here's the delivery, and it's low ball. Jimmy Gantner, a personal friend of Artie Kushner.
Walker playing behind the runner at first.
Right-hander ready, and the pitch to the left-hander. Way inside, backs him off the plate. That's what you like about Gantner. He got brushed off the plate. He just strolls back, looks down to his third base coach.
Indication that he might not be a personal friend of Joel Davis's, however.
But he wasn't upset. He knows that's part of the game. Some of these guys, you pitch inside and you think World War III was ready to break out.
Yep.
2 balls, no strikes. The pitch came inside again and missed. 3-0. So Davis in jeopardy here of putting the tying run on.
Joel didn't walk anybody in his last start. Only went 4 in the third innings, but didn't walk anybody, and that alone was an improvement. That was one of the things that really gave him a problem. Walked too many hitters.
Here's the delivery. And he misses outside. Walked him on 4 pitches. So the Brewers have the tying runs up to the plate. On the bases, rather, with the go-ahead run coming to the plate in the form of Paul Molitor. And going to the mound, former big league relief pitcher with the Orioles and the Angels, Dyer Miller, also a member of the Mets, to have a word with him. Single leading off the ball game, then thrown out, trying to stretch it to a double. Here's the delivery, looks to bunt, and he takes it outside. Ball 1. So after Schroeder singled on a 1-2 pitch, Davis has missed in the last 5 offerings. 2-0. The White Sox lead. Could use a double play here. Right-hander. Out of the stretch, delivers, and it's outside. Ball 2. Sox turned over 2 double plays in their 1-0 10-inning victory over the Brewers on Friday. Turned over 1 yesterday. Schroeder at second, Gantner at first. 2 balls, no strikes to Molitor. Davis out of the stretch and the delivery. And he misses. Ball 3, low and outside.
Trying to stay away from making a fat pitch to Molitor in this situation, and that pitch just barely missed outside, but he has not been able to pick up the corner, and he's fallen behind once again, 3-0.
Last night, the Brewers got their leadoff man on 5 different times, unable to score them. Here's the pitch. And a strike called in the outside corner. They get their leadoff man on here in the third. Have runners at first and second, nobody out, and a 3-1 count to Molitor as Tony Muser relays the signs to the runners as well as Molitor.
Well, instead of running on a 3-1 count, they might give Molitor a chance to have a good swing at a pitch.
They're not going in a pitch, and he does swing and misses. And the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Now the count changes a little bit. I don't know what Tom Trebelhorn wants to do here, but it can be a running situation. You have Paul Molitor at the plate. He handles the bat extremely well, and you feel like he's going to get a piece of the ball.
Right-hander ready. There go the runners. The pitch inside a ball. He walked him, and the bases are loaded.
Another key to whether you have the runners going or not is how much discipline does the hitter have at the plate. Not only can he make contact, but if the ball is out of the strike zone, is he going to be anxious because the runners are moving, or is he going to have the discipline to take the pitch? Paul Molitor fills all of those, answers all of those questions, and he had him going. He was able to take a pitch as left-hander Rosenberg starts to throw for the White Sox.
Well, the best offensive situation for the Brewers Friday with runners at first and second, 1 out. Last night, first and third, nobody out. The best is now. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Hamilton the batter, and he takes the ball outside. Darrell Hamilton, a strikeout victim his only time up, called out on strikes. So Davis has walked 2 in this inning after giving up a leadoff single. He has struck out 3 this afternoon. They need a comebacker to the mound here. Here's the delivery. Fastball backs him off the plate, spins him around, and now Salas going out. He just reared back and threw that ball. Looked like it almost had no idea where it was going.
Maybe that's the reason that Salas went out. Maybe Salas, it looked like Salas was setting up inside because he was able to backhand that ball well as the ball was way inside to the left-handed hitter. But he struck Hamilton out his last time up looking and threw the ball on the outside corner. So maybe that's where Salas wants him to throw rather than in.
Jim Fregosi pacing in the White Sox dugout as his pitchers got himself in trouble. Davis ready. Here's the pitch. That's a strike in the outside corner. Looked like Hamilton was going to take all the way on that delivery. Is a pretty good pitch Really not a whole lot on it.
No, although Davis did look like he was a little bit under control that time, as Lauren described on the previous pitch, just reared back and turned it loose without any idea, and Salas went out to remind him to stay under control.
Working out of the stretch with the bases loaded. Here's the kick and the delivery. Swing and a chopper to short. Guillen to second for one. To relay to first. Double play. Brewers get a run as Schroeder crosses the plate. Gantner goes to third, but there are 2 down, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, with the speed of the left-handed hitter Hamilton, you didn't know whether they were going to be able to turn that one or not, because it was a high hopper to Guillen, but Guillen charged it, got on it, and gave it to Donnie Hill, and Donnie Hill with a good pivot to throw out Hamilton at first.
Now, you might say, with Schroeder running, why didn't you go to the plate? But it's early in the ball game, and you don't get that guy at the plate. You've got to run in, and you've got the bases loaded, nobody out. As it is, there are 2 down, still leading by a run, and a runner at third, and the tough Robin Yount at the plate. Singled his only time up as the delivery is made, and it's over for a strike. First batter in 4 that he's got out in front of after having been out in front of Schroeder. No RBI for Hamilton. Davis ready in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
These are the situations, Lauren, where a pitcher really has to have confidence in his catcher's ability to block a breaking ball in the dirt. You're out in front of the count. He has a good curveball with a runner at third base. The catcher really has to be on his toes, and the pitcher has to have confidence in his ability.
Here's the pitch. Just missed in the outside corner. Yount had a notion to go after it, held up.
The pitcher doesn't have that kind of confidence in a catcher. It means that when he gets up at the top of his delivery and starts to throw that breaking ball, that he's not going to want to get it down, because if it's in the dirt, he might think it will skip past the catcher and that run will score, so they have a tendency to hang it.
Davis ready in the delivery. Swing and a foul. Got a piece of it into the lower deck. Just to the right of the screen, and the count remains 1-2. Boston still leading Toronto 7-2. Tigers over Cleveland 5-2 in the 6th. Yankees leading Detroit and Cleveland by 2. And the Yankees were losing to Baltimore 2-0. Western clubs playing later on the coast or in Texas tonight, but the Yankees have come back. They lead the Orioles 5-2 now at the end of 5. Here's the 1-2 pitch. High a ball, 2-2. A run scored by the Brewers, only their second earned run in 3 games. Davis ready. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul, coming back upstairs. Tell you, Yount, a tough man to strike out.
He is tough. He has good plate coverage. You can get him to swing at a high fastball occasionally if you get the ball in on him. He has trouble getting the head of the bat to that ball, but he's an excellent breaking ball hitter, and you can make some pretty good pitches on Robin Yount, and he'll hit it hard to the opposite field.
Yount is not alone with that high inside fastball.
No. But they have to chase it.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a fly ball deep to right. Calderon going back. It's gone. An opposite field home run for Robin Yount. And the Brewers lead for the first time today by a score of 3-2.
Yount with his 8th home run of the year, and he got a pitch that was out away from him a little bit, and he is an excellent opposite field hitter, and he drilled it into that first or second row out there in right field. But Davis, we're getting a look at it now. It was a high fastball out over the plate, and Robin Yount really likes to hit that pitch.
Fan in the first row got it above Louis Aparicio's retired number. So it looked like Davis might get out of it with the bases loaded, nobody out, with only 1 run scoring, but Yount took him deep to the opposite field. Jeffrey Leonard, the batter, and he takes the strike. Held up on it, but it was over. Leonard lined out to short his only time up. Well, when Davis has problems, it doesn't make any difference if you've got the lead or not. When he goes, it'll generally be all at once. That is the third home run he's given up since being called up as he delivers a strike in the outside corner. Well, he had Yount in the hole, 2 strikes.
Just made an awful pitch, Lauren. I don't know whether they were trying to go in on Yount or not to try to get him to chase the high inside fastball, but when you're a pitcher and you want to go in, you better get it in.
Here's the pitch, outside a ball. That was the 8th home run for Robin Yount this year. Robin hit 3 against the White Sox a year ago with 9 RBIs. He's got 1 with 2 here in the first 3 games now. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Got in on him, and he fouls it off. Upstairs, bounces back down off a fan's hands in the front row. Joel apparently comfortable pitching to Yount out of the stretch with a runner at third. Again, it goes to the individuality of the individual pitcher.
So many minor leagues are instructing their pitchers to pitch from a stretch with runners at third.
Here's the delivery. Got jammed, and he loops it down the right side, and it is going to be a foul ball. That, to me, as a relief pitcher, yes, some relief pitchers come in to start an inning and work out of the stretch with nobody on. But as a starter, you would think they would be more comfortable with a full windup.
Tell you how it all gets started. If you're standing out there from a windup position and as a runner at third base, and he makes some kind of a bluff, and you do anything at all, just twitch, it's a balk.
The 1-2 pitch to Leonard. Check swing, and the umpire at first says he did not go around.
So in order to avoid that situation, Lauren, I think that a lot of pitchers, rather than to spend their time and learn not to do that, they have gone to the stretch, and that eliminates the balk.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. Got in on him, and he bounces one, or actually rolls it to second. Donnie Hill has it and throws him out to retire the side. But those walks hurt Davis in that inning, as well as the 2-out, 2-run homer by Robin Yount as the Brewers come up with 3 in the third on only 2 hits. Nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the third. Milwaukee leading 3-2 on the White Sox Radio Network.
Our Leaf Bat Boy and Bat Girl here this afternoon. They are winners of a Milk Duds and Whoppers honorary Bat Boy and Bat Girl contest. And Chris Kaufman is here from Bensonville, Illinois, and Erica Serig of Dixon, Illinois. So we want to congratulate you on winning and welcome you to Comiskey Park. Hope you have a good afternoon.
Well, the third inning has been a charm for the Brewers the last 2 nights. They got 3 in the third last night to take a 3-1 lead, but the White Sox came right back and tied it. Now they've got 3 today in the third, and they lead 3-2 as Steve Lyons leads it off and takes the ball outside. Steve grounded out, sending a runner from second to third his only time up. That runner came home to score the first run of the ball game. Here's the pitch. A shot hit down the right side. Could be in there for 2. Lyons will make the turn and go back as Deere, with a good arm, gets that ball back in a hurry.
Well, Lyons right now just not missing mistakes. That was a pitch that didn't have much on it. It was up a little bit, and Lyons was right there and hit it hard.
So the tying run at first, nobody out. Getting back to a pitcher as a starter, working out of the stretch with a runner at third, opposed to winding up. You said, any kind of move, you can get a balk. But wouldn't it be too now with the enforcement of the balk rule that there's so many ways you can get it out of the stretch more than out of the full windup?
Exactly. And
without trying to pick somebody off.
Exactly. There have been some balks called with runners at third where the pitcher did not come to that full stop.
Toss to first, Lyons back.
And so what used to be impossible to balk from a stretch with a man at third base is not that way now, because you can balk as another throw goes over to first, but you can balk now with the new balk rule if you don't come to that complete stop from the stretch. So the Tigers, talking with Billy Muffett, the Tigers have all gone to the windup with runners at third base.
Here's the delivery, runner not going, and the pitch outside a ball to Harold Baines. Harold tapped out to the pitcher his only time up.
But all it is just experience. You see a lot of runners try to make a pitcher balk, and experienced pitchers just don't do it from the windup with runners at third.
Runner not going, the pitch, high, ball 2. August has walked one man, did not hurt him. And And now Tom Trebelhorn going out to the mound. Excuse me.
And Jones begins to throw once again for the Brewers in the pen. Odell Jones, a guy that's been around a long time, has always had a good arm, did not have very good control, but in talking with the Brewers when they came in here on Friday night, they indicated that Jones is now still throwing the ball as well, but now making better pitches.
Remember, our big payoff inning will be the bottom of the fourth. Well, if you joined us late, the White Sox got on the board in the first. Reedus doubled. Lions hit one to the right side to advance him to third, and with 2 outs, Calderon singled him home to make it a 1-0 ball game. Then Darrell Boston singled. Stole second in the second, and with 1 out, Ozzie Guillen singled him home to make it 2-0. Then the Brewers got a leadoff single, back-to-back walks, had the bases loaded, nobody out. Hamilton hit into a double play to score a run. And then with a 2-2 pitch with 2 out, Robin Yount hit a 2-out opposite field home run to give the Brewers a 3-2 lead. Now the Sox have the tying run at first as August steps off the rubber. 2 balls, no strikes to Harold Baines. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball hit to second. Gantner has it, goes to first. Now they throw to second. Lions in a rundown, trying to avoid what would have been an easy double play, and he makes it tough on the Brewers as Swain tags him out. It goes 4-3-6 on the double play.
I'm not sure that the runner who hit the ball went through Gantner's mind as he decided to turn it that way, although he felt as though he had a cinch double play if he did it the way he did it. The only problem with that is you start throwing the ball around and you really never know what's going to happen, but they were able to get Lions in the rundown.
While the Sox had 2 on with 1 out, a run in the second. They got out of it on a double play, and here with the leadoff single, get out of any possible trouble with a double play. But Calderon, the batter, goes after the first pitch, loops it into center field. Hamilton coming on. He's there, and he has it for the out. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. At the end of 3, Milwaukee leading 3-2 on the Chicago White Sox Radio Network.
Comiskey Park for their final visit of the year, a 4-game series starting June the 30th, and it'll go through July the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And on Friday, the first 15,000 fans will receive a free corduroy cap, compliments of MCI. On Saturday, the first 15,000 fans, 14 and under, will receive a free bat, compliments of Burger King. And on Sunday, the 3rd, Henry K. Jewelers and Ratto Watch will present the father-son-daughter game prior to the Sox game. For tickets, call Ticketmaster at 559-1212.
Rob Deere will lead it off as we go to the 4th inning. Brewers leading 3-2 on Robin Yount's 2-out, 2-run homer as the first pitch to Deere, low a ball. Deere, a strikeout victim, his only time up. Well, a happy birthday, a happy 40th to Jack Gould. Here's the pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit to left. Reedus is there. He has it. And there's 1 out. Jack, the senior vice president of baseball operations for the White Sox. How could he be 40 when he was a bomber pilot in World War II out of the University of Illinois? That's what it says, 40.
Just doesn't seem possible.
No, it sure doesn't. 1 out, and Billy Joe Robideau, the batter, bounced out to the pitcher. Joel Davis is only time up. Joel kicks and delivers, and the pitch low a ball. White Sox will be playing Milwaukee in Milwaukee next weekend. We'll be there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. Right-hander ready, and the pitch. And it's low a ball. It'll be a night game Thursday, night game Friday, night game Saturday, and a day game Sunday. 2 balls, no strikes to Robideau. Right-hander delivers the pitch. Ball 3 outside. Remember, our big payoff inning will be the bottom of the 4th. Our engineer, Eddie Murphy, says we're going on a road trip. We have 3 at Minnesota, 4 at Milwaukee. Here's the delivery. High, a ball. He walked him on 4 straight pitches. Joel, who did not walk a man his first outing, has walked 3 here today. 2 of them on 4 straight. And Salas goes to the mound. Said we are playing at the Metrodome and then the Bratwurst Dome. Playing conditions-wise, County Stadium hasn't changed since the days you played.
Nope. They have added the permanent bleachers. Yeah, the permanent bleachers around the ballpark in the outfield, and also an extension down each line.
Swaim, the batter, strikeout victim, his only time up. Swings and misses at a slider. Strike one. Brewers with 3 runs on 4 hits. They've been issued 3 walks, and they have struck out 3 times.
Rosenberg is throwing once again for the White Sox.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul ball behind Echeverrin and grabbed in the Brewer dugout. Two strikes on the batter. Here's the delivery. Fastball struck him out looking. 3 straight pitches. Second time Swaim has struck out today after going 3 for 4 last night.
He just looked like he was fooled on that pitch. It looked like it was practically down the middle of the plate. I don't know if he thought it was up a little bit out of the strike zone, but he must have been looking for something else and took the fastball.
Thought that was John Adam got that foul ball down there, but it was his assistant, Al Price, the 2 trainers for the Brewers. Bill Schroeder, the batter, led off that 3rd inning with a base hit in the hole 1 and 2, and he looks at a ball up high. Runner at first, 2 outs. Helmet Day here today, sponsored by the Chicago Tribune. Right-hander kicks, delivers, swing and a miss, and a good breaking ball. You know, when I envision a slider going back to the minor league days, it's a ball that comes straight in and then cuts away. Sometimes you see it where it drops.
Depends on the angle of the arm, Lauren, where you release it.
Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So for the 2nd straight time, he's got Schroeder in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hoping he can get him out this time.
Joel Davis, for an example, throws the ball pretty much over the top. So when he throws a breaking ball, it's going to have a downward plane as well as going away from the right-handed hitter. And that's the best kind of breaking ball. There are more adjustments that a hitter has to make.
The 1-2 delivery. And it's high a ball, 2 and 2.
They talk about a side armor, or you drop down and throw a flat slider. It means that the hitter only has to adjust on one plane. All he has to do is get more extension, and you're able to make pretty good contact. But when it breaks down as well as goes away from you, now you have to adjust twice.
Here's the delivery. Swing and a foul tip, but in and out of the mid of Mark Salas. And the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the fleet is here today. A lot of sailors in from the Great Lakes Naval Training Center. Two balls, 2 strikes. You always see a lot of sailors on the weekends. Right-hander ready in the pitch. Swing and a pop-up. Shallow center. Darrell Boston down with the glasses is there. He has it, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th, the big payoff inning. Let's give away a lot of merchandise. The Brewers 3, the White Sox 2 on the White Sox Radio Network. Lauren Brown and Del Crandall back at Comiskey Park. We go to the big payoff inning on a beautiful, actually gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in Chicago. 86 degrees at game time. Well, let's give away a lot of merchandise. Dan August on the mound for the Brewers has given up 2 runs on 5 hits. He's been aided by his best friend, a couple of double plays, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. Greg Walker, who grounded out to 3rd, his only time up, will lead it off, and he is batting for Marion Jacobs of Northbrook, Illinois. Here in the big payoff inning, a single is worth a $50 gift certificate from True Value Hardware Stores. A double, we'll tell you in a moment. Here's the pitch. And it's up high. A ball is worth a $167 gift certificate from Rogers and Holland Jewelers. A triple will win you a Snapper lawnmower A home run wins you a gold watch. And should we get the bases loaded? Here's the pitch, outside a ball with nobody out, and someone hits a grand slam. You're $5,000 to the better. And if our batter does not get a hit, you still be a winner. You receive a $25 gift certificate for men's clothing from the Suitery. 2-0 pitch, thrown low, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. It'll be Walker, Boston, and Salas. Here's the delivery. And a strike called. August, a right-hander, faces only one right-hander in today's lineup. That is Ivan Calderon. Donnie Hill, a switch hitter. And the other 7, all natural left-handed hitters. Here's the pitch, slapped hard to Gantner on one hop at second. He has it and throws him out, 1 down. So Marion Jacobs of Northbrook, Illinois, walked, did not get a hit, but you're still a winner. You get a $25 gift certificate for men's clothing from the Suitery. Darrell Boston steps up. Darrell batting for Ike Van Schaik of Madison, Wisconsin. Ike spells his last name Vanschhoyck. So a Sox fan in Madison. Madtown. Here's the pitch, and a strike in the inside corner. Darrell with a single, a stolen base, and a run scored today. 3 for 5 in the series. White Sox have scored 8 runs in this series. Darrell has scored 4 of them. A breaking ball, swing, and a miss. Occasionally, he'll throw that nasty breaking pitch, but he does not do it consistently, or at least has not. Sox with 5 hits, the Brewers with 4. The 2-strike delivery. Inside, 1-2. Ike Van Schaik of Madison is our contestant here in the big payoff inning. Right-hander ready in the delivery. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fell behind Walker, 3-0, then got him to ground out on a one-hopper, actually, to Gantner on a 3-1 pitch. After getting ahead of Boston, the count now 2-2 as he swings and misses, struck him out. His first strikeout of the day. So Ike Van Schaik of Madison, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fell behind Walker, 3-0, then got him to ground out on a one-hopper, actually, to Gantner on a 3-1 pitch. After getting ahead of Boston, the count now 2-2 as he swings and misses, Shire of Chicago. Could be Shire. Or Schriff, Schirf, that's what it is. Here's the pitch. Swing up from the swings and misses, struck him out. His first strikeout of the day. So Diane Schriff of Chicago will win a $25 gift certificate for men's clothing from the Suitery. We go to the 5th. The Brewers leading 3-2 on the Chicago White Sox radio network. We go to the 5th inning. The Brewers leading Joel Davis and the White Sox by a score of 3-2. It'll be Jim Gantner, Paul Molitor, and Darrell Hamilton to
scored. Here's the work, and
for you, here's Del Crandall.
Thank you, Laura. Nice to have you with us along the White Sox radio network, and once again, a good ball game, a pitcher's battle here at Comiskey Park. Milwaukee on a 2-run home run by Robin Yount in the 3rd inning have taken a 3-2 lead over the White Sox. Joel Davis. Gantner has walked and scored. Here's the first pitch from Davis, and pop fly down the 3rd baseline, but it's going to just get into the seats as Lyons went over against base and tried the railing that separates the photographer's box just on the end and make an attempt to catch that ball, and it's 0-1 on Gantner. Joel Davis, after not walking anybody in his first outing, there's a ball hit up the middle, and it's going to go into center field for a base hit. Ball hit well, a breaking ball that was in on Gantner, but he got enough bat on it, hit it past Donnie Hill, so Gantner leads off the 5th inning for the Brewers with a base hit to center. Paul Molitor to the plate. Turn around and has hit. Ball hit well, a breaking ball that was in on Gantner, but he got enough bat on it, hit it past Donnie Hill, so Gantner leads off the 5th inning for the Brewers with a base hit to center. Leads off the 5th inning for the Brewers with a base hit to center. A single. Darrell Ball and tried to Joel Davis. Dave ball and no strikes. Joel Davis struggling a little bit, and a right hand a little bit and a little strikes. Joel Davis struggling a little bit of his stuff. Command of his seats. 1 ball and 1 strike. When you talk about a pitcher having command of his stuff, when you sit up here and watch him, you can see that he's throwing the breaking ball where he's supposed to, trying to keep the fastball in and out as far as the corners are concerned. Has been struggling with it. The corners are fast. Not in. It's one of the things that you look for when you're an opposing manager or a coach. You know, I made a reference to Joel Davis, who came directly out of high school, and made kind of a comparison to Jack McDowell. And when you talk about them, you're talking about 2 guys that are pretty much the same age. Here's a delivery. There goes the runner, and he stops and gets back. The throw by Salas. Not in time, as Gantner, I don't know whether a hit and run was on, and Molitor missed the sign, but Gantner got, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 feet away from the bag at first and stopped all of a sudden and hustled back as a catcher. Salas came up ready to throw the ball to second base, and by the time he got his feet under him, was able to get the ball to first base. Gantner was able to get back with a head-first slide. 2-2 on Molitor. Here's the pitch. There goes Gantner. The ball is hit on the ground, but foul. And as Lyons goes over into foul territory and fields that ground ball, so Gantner will have to come back. Count remains 2-2 on Molitor. Walter Alston was the manager that used to run more than anybody else on 2-2 counts. Not a hit-and-run situation, but he would have his runner steal on a 2-2. He knew that he was not going to be caught with a pitch out, because very, very seldom do you call for a pitch out when it's going to go to 3-2. There's a ball hit down the third base line. It's in there for a base hit past the diving Lyons. Gantner will go to third as Molitor pulls up at second base. So the Brewers in business here once again with nobody out. They have runners at second and third. Let's pause for station identification on the White Sox Radio Network.
This is the home of White Sox baseball. All News 67 WMAQ Chicago.
And that double down the line by Paul Molitor, just barely fair as it went over the bag, brings Jimmy Fregosi out of the White Sox dugout, and that's going to be all for Joel Davis. So we're going to have a new pitcher here in the top of the 5th inning. And with the score 3-2, the Brewers out in front of the White Sox. We'll be back on the White Sox Radio Network.
Bill Long comes in the ballgame for the White Sox to make his 27th appearance. He has won 2, lost 2, saved 2. All of his appearances have been in relief with an earned run average of 3.59. He had a great stretch for 4 or 5 games without giving up a run. Then he got tired, had 3 games in a row where he gave up some runs, and Jim Fregosi gave him 3 days off, and he came back Friday night and responded by beating the Milwaukee Brewers, pitched 1 inning, allowed no runs on no hits, walked a man, And he struck out a man. Well, correction, he did not walk a man. He gave up one hit and did not walk anybody, struck out a man. Joel Davis threw 90 pitches in 4+ innings, giving up 3 runs on 6 hits, a homer, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he's responsible for the runners at second and third with nobody out here in the 5th inning. And Bill Long will try to shut the door on the Brewers.
Well, when I was talking about Joel Davis not having command, that 90 pitches is a great indication of it. That is way, way over the limit. In 90 pitches, you should be into the 7th, maybe 8th inning. And he just was all over the place, not able to establish those pitches with good control good enough to get the Brewer hitters out. They had some pretty good swings, but Davis gone, and now it's up to Billy Long, looking for a similar type performance as Bittiger in last night's ball game when Bittiger came on. Runners at first and third, nobody out, and got an out at the plate. Then runners at second and third got another out at the plate, and nobody scored off of Bittiger last night. Billy Long ready to face the left-handed hitting youngster Darrell Hamilton, and he misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. The White Sox infield back. Runners at second and third this early in the ball game. You don't want one of those base hits going through and driving in a couple of runs, so they hope to get out of this with only allowing 1 run. There's a ball on the ground hit to Donnie Hill, and he's going to throw on to first base as Gantner scores, and it's now 4-2 Brewers over the White Sox. And Hamilton did what he was supposed to do. He pulled the ball, drove in the run, his 3rd since joining the Brewers, and it also moved the runner to third base. So Molitor is at third. Gantner scores, and Robin Yount will step in. Now the White Sox infield in. 4-2, the Brewers lead the White Sox. Billy Long pitching from the stretch with the runner at third. Here's the first pitch to Yount. It's a fastball that's in on him, and he fouls it back. Joel Davis, the last time that Robin Yount was at the plate, tried to get a fastball in on Robin, and he got it out over the plate, and he hit it into the right field seats for a 2-run home run. That gave the Brewers a 3-2 lead at the time. Now Long backs off of the rubber as Yount steps out. Paul Molitor at third. It's a 4-2 ball game. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Long checks the runner, and the pitch, swing and a miss as Yount chased a fastball way high out of the strike zone. So Bill Long out in front, 0-2. But when you have a good breaking ball hitter up at the plate, as Robin Yount is, it's difficult to put him away if you like to throw breaking balls. And Billy Long is a good breaking ball pitcher with a good curveball and also a good slider. Here's a pitch to him, and he goes with a fastball, misses high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Yount, in his anxiety to hit the ball up in the air, chased a high fastball out of the strike zone for strike 2. That's one of the things that you will do as a hitter, because you see that high pitch, and if you get it in the air, it's going to drive in that run. Here's the pitch to him, and a curveball popped up, but it's going to make the seats. Down the right side, Walker gave chase, but no chance whatsoever as it hit behind the Brewer dugout. We just have an outstanding afternoon for baseball. The wind blowing out here at Comiskey Park has not really been a factor, however. Robin Yount's home run, the only one of the afternoon, was pretty much a line drive that went into the first couple of rows in right. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that pitch is fouled off. Went with a fastball once again. Count remains 1-2. Robin, of course, one of the better hitters in the American League with runners in scoring position. had that kind of makeup right from the beginning when he made the ball club for the first time back in '74. Here's the delivery to him, and he took something off and missed high and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Yount. Paul Molitor, the runner at third base, 1 down. The White Sox infield in. Milwaukee, with a run here in the top of the 5th inning, have taken a 4-2 lead over the White Sox. Billy Long trying to save that run at third. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball missed outside. Yount had a notion but was able to hang up in time, so it's a full count on Yount. Billy Long getting out in front of the count. 0-2, and Robin Yount makes him go to a full count. Once again, Long from the stretch. The pitch on the way, and a breaking ball stays high and inside, so he walks Yount. And that'll bring Jeffrey Leonard to the plate as Lyons goes in and has a talk with Bill Long. Well, the White Sox infield will now go for 2. The middle infielders will be back in double play depth. The ball that's hit hard to Lyons, he will go on to second base to try to turn the double play. If the ball is not hit hard, he will throw on to the plate to try to keep Molitor from scoring the 5th run for the Brewers. Walker will probably come home with any ground ball hit to him unless it's off of the bag quite a ways, a slow hopper, and he'll have to go on to second base. Here's the pitch on the way to Leonard, and he hits it high in the air to deep right field. Calderon is back on the track. Oh, he did not catch the ball. Molitor will score. Yount will go on to third base as Leonard will wind up. It's going to be an error on Calderon as he drifted back on that fly ball. It was hit well by Leonard. It's going to be a sacrifice fly by Jeff Leonard, but he will reach base on that 2-base error by Ivan Calderon. Molitor scores, and it is 5-2.
So instead of having to run in a 5-2 ball game with a runner at first base, you've got a run in, runners at second and third, still only 1 out. I don't know if that sun bothered him or what. He had his shades down.
Well, he seemed to go back all right, and then all of a sudden you could tell he was fooled. He just didn't get in the right spot.
They're in on the right side, back on the left side of the infield.
Back on the left side. Rob Deere waits, and he hits that ball high and deep to left field, but it's going to be foul, as the wind really tried to push it back into the field as Reedus got over there, but the wind didn't affect it enough to make it catchable for him. The Brewers with Leonard at second, Robin Yount at third. 2 runs in here in the 5th inning to take a 5-2 lead over the White Sox. Donnie Hill, the second baseman, in. Walker in. Ozzie Guillen is back. And Lyons is back on the left side. 0-1 on Deere. Here's a delivery and a fastball. It hits him on the fist. A little pop-up, but it's going to make the seats as Salas gives chase. So he's out in front of Rob Deere. 0-2. Deere has struck out and has flown out to left field here this afternoon. RBI in last night's ball game on a sacrifice fly. He's in a sacrifice fly situation here at the moment. Here's a delivery to him, and inside as Deere has to jackknife out of the way, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Deere, a big, strong right-handed hitter coming over from the Giants. Giants knew they were giving up some power, but he also strikes out a lot. Last year, he struck out 186 times, which led the American League. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Long, and a breaking ball misses outside. Mark Salas doing the best he could to try to catch it as close to a strike as possible, but home plate umpire John Hirschbeck called it ball 2. 2-2. Deere waits. The runners get their lead. Here's the pitch from Long, and it's a ball hit on the ground. Lyons made a dive for it. Ozzie was able to knock it down, but not able to make a play as Yount scores, and it is now 6-3 Brewers. It's going to be a base hit for Deere and an RBI. Leonard has to stay at second base as the ball was hit to the left side, but Lyons, with a diving attempt to catch the ball, was not able to do so, and Guillen, going to his right, was just able to get his glove on it, knocked it down. It rolled a few feet by him, and an RBI and a single for Deere. Billy Joe Robideau looks at a breaking ball, a called strike by Hirschbeck. Only one down here in the top of the fifth inning. Leonard with his lead at second, and a fastball catches the outside corner to Robideau, so he's out in front of the left-handed hitter. 0-2. Leonard at second, Rob Deere at first. Here's the pitch, and a fastball that misses outside as Billy Long tried to go back out and catch that outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-2, the Brewers, with 3 runs here in the fifth inning, have increased their lead to 4 over the White Sox. And a trick move to second base by Billy Long as he lifted up his front leg and just continued to pivot around to second base, nobody covering. Now he's ready once again, has his sign from Salas, and here's the delivery. Ball is hit hard. Walker with a nice play over to second for 1. Back to first. No.
Didn't get the foot down in time.
Yep, Billy Long got over there but didn't quite get his foot on the bag. Leonard to 6. And we have 2 down. Runners at the corners. Dale Swaim will step in. Swaim has struck out twice, both times off of Joel Davis. Struck out swinging his first time up and then took a called third strike off of Davis. Here's the pitch to Swaim. A switch hitter hits it high in the air to deep right center field. Boston's giving chase. That ball is gone off of the scoreboard. That auxiliary scoreboard in right center field. A 2-run home run by 3-run home run by Dale Swaim. And it is now a 9-2 ball game as Swaim really got into one, and the wind is going to help it out in that direction for Swaim. That's his 7th home run of the year. So after striking out twice, he comes through with a long 3-run home run to right center field. Gives the Brewers a 9-2 lead.
Those 3 runs unearned, but nevertheless on the board, and as you said, 7-run spread for the Brewers.
Bill Schroeder, the catcher, will step in. He's the 9th man to hit in this inning for the Brewers. Here's Bill Long's first pitch. A breaking ball stays high.
Well, getting out in front of Robin Yount, 1-2, and then walking him on a 3-2 pitch really started the ball rolling. Then the drop fly ball out and right.
Pitch misses outside. 2-0 on Schroeder. Well, Robin Yount is a tough hitter to put away.
Yes.
He's a tough hitter because he's such a good breaking ball hitter. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Schroeder, and that ball is tapped foul. Billy Long, not a real overpowering fastball pitcher. He has to use his fastball, but he has to make good pitches with it. Was not able to get the ball up and in on Yount, and Yount finally worked him for a walk. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and the ball is fouled off by Schroeder. He tried to hold up, and the ball hit his bat and really zipped into the lower box seats. Nobody hurt, fortunately. 2-2 delivery by Long, and a breaking ball swung at and missed by Schroeder. So the Brewers are out here in the 5th inning, but they have come up with some runs here in the 5th inning, and after 4.5 innings of play, it's Milwaukee 9 and the White Sox 2 on the White Sox Radio Network. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Comiskey, and the White Sox now need a bunch. 6 runs in the top half of the 5th inning for the Brewers, has given the Brewers a 9-2 lead, and Ozzie Guillen will lead it off. Ozzie has singled, driven in a run, and he has stolen a base. This is only Ozzie's second trip to the plate this afternoon, and a fastball delivered by August is in and over. Here's a delivery to Ozzie, and the ball's tapped down the first base line, goes foul, called foul by the crew chief, and it's 0-2 on Ozzie. Well, thanks to everyone for entering the WMAQ Benjamin Moore batting clinic, and it has been a bonanza, the batting clinic bonanza. These 14 lucky youngsters won a dream of a lifetime, a tour of Comiskey Park, lunch in the picnic area as a pitch misses low to Ozzie, 1-2, and 2 tickets to a White Sox game and a batting clinic with White Sox players. And here are those lucky youngsters, and glad to read them as we saw them go through the batting clinic bonanza as the ball is tapped foul by Ozzie. Brendan Parker is one of the winners. Stephen Maas, Jason Breslowski, Brittany Goldflies. Here's a pitch to Ozzie, and he taps it toward the left side. A nice play by Molitor to his left, throws on to first base, and Ozzie is retired. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Matthew Ritter, Benjamin Mix, Eric Smith, Rachel Kingman, who is only 5 years old, one of the winners of the tour of Comiskey Park and lunch in the picnic area, and a couple of tickets to a White Sox game. Holly Stark, Kenny Bellandy, Nicole Darien, Mark Berquist, Mary Pendelski, as a pitch is delivered to Donnie Hill that misses, and it's 1-0. And Melissa Swiatek. Now, all of these youngsters from, there's a ball hit on the ground to the first baseman Robideau. He takes it himself, and we have 2 down. All of these youngsters range in age from 12 down to 5. So congratulations to all of those youngsters. Sure, they had an outstanding time, and the tour of Comiskey Park and lunch in the picnic area, 2 tickets to a White Sox game, and a batting clinic with the White Sox players. I'm sure a thrill of a lifetime. And thanks to everyone for entering from Benjamin Moore and WMAQ All News 67. 2 down, Gary Reedus looks at the first pitch from August, and it's a breaking ball that's in and over. White Sox look like that they might get to August. He was struggling a little bit, but he has since settled down and started to make better pitches with his breaking stuff. And speaking of a breaking ball, that one catches the outside corner, and it's 0-2 on Reedus. Reedus not so sure that it caught the outside corner, but it matters not. Looked like a strike to John Hirschbeck, and it's 0-2. August retiring the White Sox in order for the first time in the bottom of the 4th inning, and a fastball misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. August, not an overpowering pitcher, does need his control, and early in the ball game didn't seem to have it. But looks like he's pitching with some confidence right now. 2 down, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Reedus. Here's his pitch, and his tap to the right side. A little looper into right field. Rob Deere misses his first grab, but Reedus not able to get going as Rob Deere got to the ball in a hurry, so it's going to be a single for Reedus, his second hit of the afternoon. He doubled in the first inning and scored. Hit a pretty good pitch off of August that time. It was a breaking ball that was away from him, and his fanny was going one way, but he was able to stay in there long enough to loop it into right field for a base hit. So with 2 down and Reedus at first, Steve Lyons will step in. Lyons still swinging the bat. Has singled and tapped out to the first baseman. Here's a delivery to Lyons, and he singles it into right center field. Deere comes over quickly to cut it off. Reedus has to stop at second. So with 2 down, back-to-back singles by Reedus and Lyons have runners at first and second for the White Sox, and they need a bunch, and Harold Baines steps in.
Harold only 1 for 9 in the series. Runner at third, he tapped out to the pitcher, and with runners at first and second, or first rather, his last time up, hit into a double play. So could use a big hit from Harold right here.
Yes, sir. When you need some runs on the board, there's nothing like a 3-run home run to put some up there in a hurry. Dan August checks his runners. Here's the delivery to Harold, and a breaking ball that catches the inside corner about knee-high. 0-1 on Bainesy. Well, I think Harold's still trying to find that groove where he is able to make good solid contact and get the ball in the air. A fastball, a sinker, misses outside. 1-1. Mark Clear, a right-hander, starts to throw for the Brewers. Pitch on the way to Harold, and a breaking ball hit hard on the line, and it almost handcuffs Gantner, but he's able to stay with it and make the play. So Baines lines out with a couple of runners on. That ends the 5th inning, and after 5, the Brewers 9, the White Sox 2 on the White Sox Radio Network. Join the official White Sox fan club, the Chi Sox fan club, and do that today. Stop by any Chicagoland Walgreens store now through the 15th of July, and you can pick up your club application. Walgreens is the official distribution outlet of the Chi Sox clubs. And remember, a portion of the proceeds will go to benefit the Chi Sox kids in the fight against terminal illness in children. Billy Long on the mound as Jimmy Gantner leads it off. Gantner led off that 6-run 5th for the Brewers, and he takes a fastball inside from Long, and it's 1-0. Boston defeated the Toronto Blue Jays by the score of 8-2. They had lost 6 straight to Toronto. Finally came away with an 8-2 victory.
Baltimore has tied up the Yankees in the 9th.
Here's a 2-0 pitch from Long, and that ball is hit into right field for a base hit. Long got in on him, but Gantner, who was ahead in the count, was able to get the bat out in front and line a single into right field. So he is 2 for 2. He walked and scored in the 3rd inning, and then singles leading off the 5th, and here again in the 6th. That'll bring Paul Molitor to the plate. Any update on Houston's Mike Scott? He had a no-hitter through 6 innings, and now he has extended that through 7. I tell you, Lauren, I can't remember this many no-hitters in one season, and we haven't gotten one yet.
Not a one. I think 6 times pitchers have gone to the 9th this year with no hitters. 2 Cincinnati pitchers.
Yep.
Browning, and what's the other fellow, the big guy? Lost one.
1 ball and no strikes on Molitor as a breaking ball missed from Long. Long checks the runner. Walker playing behind Gantner, and that breaking ball is in and over.
4 runs given up by Long in that 5th inning were unearned. He'll get an earned run in his own with that home run, but despite the unearned runs, gave up 2 hits and a walk and has given up a hit here.
The 1-1 pitch on the way, and the ball is hit hard to left center field. Boston on the run. He's not going to get there. It's off the wall. Gantner rounding 3rd. He's going to score. Molitor is going to be in with a stand-up triple. So it's now 10-2 as Gantner and Molitor combine again, just as they did in the 5th inning when the Brewers came up with 6 runs. Molitor now 3 for 3. A single, a double, and now a triple.
And a walk. Molitor had only been 1 for 7. He's had a perfect day. Gantner had only been 1 for 7. He's had a perfect day. Gantner scoring his 3rd run of the day.
And Darrell Hamilton, the left-handed hitting young center fielder for the Brewers, steps in. Hamilton 0 for 3, but he's driven in a run. There's a fastball that misses high.
Looks like this might be one of those days you take your lumps, just hope nobody gets hurt.
Yep. Boy, these are guys too. The White Sox infield playing back. They just want some outs. Here's a delivery to Hamilton, and it misses outside.
Well, you hold this Brewer club, despite the fact that they're a 500 club. They're still hitting well, up around 260, the best pitching in the league, team-wise. You hold them to 1 earned run in 2 ball games. You've done a good job on them. But they busted loose here this afternoon.
2-0 on Hamilton. Here's a delivery, and the ball's hit on the ground to Walker. He has it. He'll make the play himself as Molitor comes on to score, and it's now 11-2 Milwaukee.
Young man getting 2 RBIs on infield outs.
Robin Yount will step in. 1 down. Yount with a home run and a single, a 2-run home run. He scored a couple of runs also. Salas out talking with Billy Long. Baltimore came up with 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium, and they're all tied up at 5 apiece going into the 9th.
Who are they going to send down tomorrow?
Yeah, the catcher. Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland trying to get back in that ball game. It is now a 5-4 game as Robin Yount hits one deep to right field. Calderon is back. That ball's off the wall. Yount going for 2, and he will stop there as once again Ivan Calderon had trouble picking the ball up because he was fooled once again. When he looked up, he started to drift, and then he tried to get it in high gear, and the ball went off the wall.
Another high outside fastball to Robin Yount. He hit a 2-home run ball off that same pitch earlier. And now Dyer Miller out to the mound. 13th double for Yount. He has a single, a home run, and a double, plus a walk. He has had a perfect afternoon. As Rosenberg, who had been up earlier in the ball game for 2 innings, is up there now. Long, well, we thought that 3 days rest would have helped him. Came in, won the ball game here Friday night, but he just hasn't fooled anybody.
No, he just hasn't made good pitches. As Lauren mentioned, Robin Yount got a fastball high away off of Davis, and he hit the ball out of the ballpark. That time got a fastball high away from Long. Long kept him in the ballpark, but it went high off the wall for a double. Now the conversation over, and Jeffrey Leonard will step in with 1 down, and Robin Yount on second base. 11-2, the Brewers exploding here against the White Sox. Talking about that Detroit-Cleveland game at Cleveland. It's over, and Detroit defeated the Cleveland Indians 5-4. Here's the pitch to Leonard, a slider that's outside. Told you that the Boston Red Sox defeated Toronto 8-2. California has come up with a pair in the bottom of the 1st inning, and they lead Kansas City out in California 2-0. Power against Frazier takes care of Power's shutouts as a breaking ball hits the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Power went into the game against California with 2 consecutive shutouts. Minnesota will be at Seattle a little bit later, and Oakland at Texas. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 down. Robin Yount with his lead at second base. Here's a pitch from Long, and the ball is hit high in the air to shallow center field. Boston on the run, and the wind held it up for him to get there in time. So Leonard flies out to shallow center field. Robin Yount has to hold at second. 2 down, and Rob Deere will check in. In the National League, Philadelphia is at Pittsburgh, and it's 5-3 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. Philadelphia out in front of Pittsburgh. Montreal came up with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to tie the New York Mets at 3 apiece, and they're going into the bottom of the 10th at Montreal, all tied at 3. The Cubs lead St. Louis 3-1. They're through 7 innings at St. Louis. There's a ball wrapped hard by Deere, but it goes into the seats. 0-1. For the Cubs, Maddox going for his 11th win of the year. He has only lost 3. So he has only given up 1 run. A run in the first inning to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cubs came up with a run in the 3rd and 2 in the 6th to take that 3-1 lead after 7. Here's a pitch to Deere, and a ball's hit hard to left field, and that ball is gone. A home run for Rob Deere, and it is a 13-2 ball game. No doubt about that one. He got a high slider from Billy Long, and he hit a line drive into the lower section out there in left field. His 9th home run of the year, and he's now driven in 35.
Well, the ball is gone, and so is Long. He just did not have it here today. Charged with 8 runs, 5 for him unearned, 5 for him earned, 4 for the team earned.
And with this pitching change, we'll be back on the White Sox Radio Network.
Steve Rosenberg comes on to make his 4th appearance of the year. 3 earned runs on 7 hits in 4 innings, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. No record, no saves, a .675 earned run average. Got himself in trouble last night. Came on, gave up a double and a single to lead off an inning. Got a comebacker to the mound to get a man out at the plate. And then Bittiger came on and retired the next 2 hitters. So Rosie went unscathed yesterday. So he comes on here with the bases empty, 2 outs. Brewers leading 13-2. Long in 1 2/3 innings, charged with 8 runs, 4 of them earned, 6 hits, 2 homers, a walk, and a strikeout. Well, when you've got a staff basically of controlled pitchers, it tells the story right there. When they've got their control, they're good. When they don't, they're not.
Well, you know, just about anybody has to have good control if they're going to be successful, but when you can overpower people, you make a mistake, and it's not always hit hard. Here's the first pitch from the left-handed pitcher Rosenberg to the left-handed hitter Billy Joe Robideau, and it's high and inside, ball 1. Robideau is 0 for 2. Got on a fielder's choice and walked and scored a run, and he also walked. Now we're talking about that New York-Montreal game. Montreal's 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to tie up the Mets was a result of Galarraga's 16th home run of the year with 2 men on in the 9th inning.
Well, he's been the National League Player of the Week the last 2 weeks in a row.
Might have a shot at it again, huh? 2-1 as Rosenberg misses high. Here's a delivery from Steve, and that's foul back. 2-2. Atlanta at Houston, and Houston behind Mike Scott has a no-hitter through 7 innings, and they lead Atlanta 4-0. The Los Angeles Dodgers, rather, there's a breaking ball that misses low, 3-2. The Dodgers and San Diego scoreless after an inning and a half out in San Diego. Cincinnati and San Francisco also scoreless after 1. Here's the 3-2 pitch. The ball is hit hard to right center field. That ball is off the wall. Robideau going for 2, and he will hold up there as that ball just barely hit the bottom of the wall out there right next to the 409 sign, right where it says bullpen 2. So Robideau off of the left-handed pitcher got into a 3-2 pitch and hit it a long ways. We're going to have our relay team in the outfield, I think, Lauren.
Boy, you got that.
Dale Swaim will move over and hit from the right side off of the left-hander Rosenberg. Now time is called as a hat lays out near the fence in right field. The ball boy going out to retrieve it.
Over half the hits for the Brewers, extra bases. They've had 13 hits, 3 homers, 3 doubles, and a triple. And they have been the recipients of 4 walks, which have hurt.
Now we're ready. Here's the first pitch to Swaim, and it's a fastball that misses outside. Rosenberg, once again, is a fastball curveball pitcher. His fastball, not really what you would call a sinker. A lot of left-handed pitchers throw a natural sinker, but his ball will move away a little bit from the right-handed hitter. There's an off-speed pitch, and that misses low. 2-0. But getting back to the difference in the control pitchers and the pitchers who throw the ball 90, 92, 93 miles an hour, when a pitcher that can throw that hard makes a mistake, the hitters can't always catch up to it, and they'll pop it up or ground it out. There's a fastball that misses outside. 3-0. But you take a control pitcher, if they make a mistake, it's not going to get by the hitter, and the hitter's going to have a pretty good swing at it, and that's what's happened here this afternoon. Here's a 3-0 delivery. Swaim taking all the way, and it's a fastball in and over for a strike.
Now, they just mentioned Scott with a no-hitter through 8 in the Astrodome. He flirted with a no-hitter earlier this year.
3-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Well, maybe, what is it, 7th time's a charm? Is that the way that saying goes?
I don't think it's 7 necessarily, but 3rd time, I think.
3rd time.
I don't know.
Well, they got past that.
Some numeral.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Swaim. Robideau at second, and swing and a miss as Rosenberg comes back to strike out Swaim. That ends the 6th inning. But they come up with 4 more runs, and the Brewers now lead the White Sox after 5.5 innings of play by the score of 13-2 on the White Sox Radio Network. Well, the Red Sox come into Comiskey Park for their final appearance here of the year. They will be here on July the 8th for what was supposed to be a 3-game series, but it'll be a 5-game series with doubleheaders scheduled on Friday and Saturday night. And on Friday, the first 15,000 adults 21 and over will receive a free beach towel, compliments of Miller Lite. On Saturday, a spectacular fireworks display will follow the game, and that'll be brought to you compliments of Sports Vision. And on Sunday, it will be Fuji Camera Day. For tickets, call Ticketmaster at 559-1212. Ivan Calderon will lead it off for the White Sox as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 13-2 ball game. Milwaukee over the White Sox. And here are the scheduled hitters against Mike Scott in the top of the 9th inning at the Astrodome. It'll be the pitcher spot, followed by Albert Hall and Ken Oberkfell. So those are at least breaking ball thrown to Calderon.
Ducey comes on to play right field. Castillo comes on to play 3rd for the Brewers here in the bottom of the 6th.
Ball is hit up the middle, a 2-hopper. Gantner goes to his right, the long throw, and they've got him. So Calderon grounds out to Gantner. Gantner had to go far to his right. The ball was not hit hard, just a nice 2-hopper. But he had a long throw, able to make it, and threw Calderon out. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Greg Walker will step in. Walker is 0 for 2.
So Molitor will not have a chance for a cycle today. Single, double, and a triple, plus he walked. He is out of the ball game.
Fastball that misses low to Walker. Hit on the ground. A nice roller to the shortstop Swaim and a high throw, but first baseman Robideau able to keep his foot on the bag, and we have 2 down.
We'll have to wait and see where they're going to bat. Castillo most likely will bat in Molitor's spot, Adduci in Deer's spot if they go straight up, but they might change that.
Darrell Boston steps in. Boston has been swinging the bat well. Had a big game in last night's ball game with a home run and a triple as a fastball is in on the corner.
Well, let's hit a home run here. Give the fans something to cheer about.
Something to cheer about. Well, they were cheering in New York. There's a pitch foul by Boston as the New York Yankees came up with the bottom of the ninth, 1 run, and they defeated Baltimore by the score of 6-5. And the pitch on the way, and a tapper over the pitcher's head. It's going to be a tough play. Swaim fields it, but eats it as Darrell Boston beats it out. Second single of the afternoon for Boston. He is now 2 for 3. One of those little hoppers. The pitcher retreated trying to catch the ball, made a little bit of a leap as he went back over the mound, but not able to come up with it. Swaim able to field it, but didn't have a play. Mark Salas, also 0 for 2, steps in. Here's the first pitch to Mark, and it's a fastball that misses high and away. 13-2, the Brewers lead the White Sox after the White Sox took the first 2 games of this series. Here's a delivery. Fastball misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. But this afternoon, the Brewers with their hitting shoes on. Here's the delivery, and that misses outside. So August, trying to be a little bit too fine, has fallen behind in the count, 3-0 to Mark Salas. Darrell Boston on first base. Well, a final from Pittsburgh. Philadelphia defeated the Pirates 5-4. And he walked Salas on 4 straight pitches.
I'll tell you, the big key, I think, for August today is trailing 2-0, had 2 on, 1 out in the second, got that double play ball, and got out of the inning. That really stiffened him up. He's given up only 4 hits since then. 3 of them have come after 2 out.
Again, looking for his second hit of the afternoon, steps in. He is 1 for 2. He has driven in a run and has stolen a base. As the White Sox with 3 stolen bases in the first 2 innings off of the Brewers. Actually, early in the ball game, the White Sox really playing excellent baseball, doing all the things they had to pick up their runs. But the Brewers have not been stoppable as far as swinging the bat is concerned, as a fastball misses outside.
He could be getting tired. Now, Schroeder out to have a word with him. It looks like Odell Jones back up for the 3rd time today. No, that's not Odell. It's a right-hander.
Clear. I think Clear was throwing also, so it could be.
Yeah, it's Clear.
Mark Clear. Now the manager, Tom Trebelhorn, goes out. So Schroeder and Trebelhorn talking with their right-hander, and all in an attempt to give the right-hander Clear a little bit more time to warm up. When you get 2 men out, as August has done here, the first 2 men going down on ground balls, and the next 2 getting on, 1 on an infield hit and a walk, you don't get that bullpen up quite quick enough, and they took a little bit of time to get Clear ready. There's a ball hit high in the air to right center field, and Hamilton over, and that retires Ozzie Guillen, and that retires the White Sox. The White Sox with 2 men left here in the 6th inning, but come up empty, and after 6 full innings of play, it's 13-2 Brewers on the White Sox Radio Network. We go to the 7th inning here at Comiskey. It's a 13-2 ball game. The Brewers over the White Sox. Freddie Manrique comes in to play shortstop for Ozzie Guillen to give Oz 2 or 3 innings off here this afternoon. And with the score 13-2, Lorne Brown has his work cut out for him as he takes you through the rest of this ball game.
Well, I wouldn't have had. I gave you a 1-run ball game. 9-run spread for the Brewers. They've taken advantage of their 13 hits with 13 runs, 3 homers today. 2-run homers by Yount and Deere, and a 3-run homer by Swaim. They all occurred after 2 out. Schroeder leads it off. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. And they just mentioned Mike Scott lost his no-hit bid with 2 out in the 9th. That's the 7th man to go into the 9th this year with a no-hitter and to lose it. Rosenberg delivers, and it's low ball. Rosie came in, gave up a double to Robideau, and struck out Swaim to retire the side.
Well, they said Oberkfeld was the 3rd scheduled hitter. We don't know if he was the one who broke it up, because there could have been a walk or something in there. But
here's the delivery outside a ball. Well, they've had 2 extra inning games. Houston winning last night in extra innings, Atlanta the night before. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Left-hander ready in the delivery. And a fastball missed inside. 3-1. It'll be Schroeder, Gantner, and Castile batting for the Brewers here in the 7th. Fred Manrique has come on to play shortstop. Rosenberg, the 3rd White Sox pitcher employed. Here's the delivery. Swing and a foul coming back. Joel Davis had himself a 2-run lead going to the 3rd, but he gave up a single to the leadoff man, who's batting now, Schroeder at the time. Schroeder batting here as he fouled it off, and the count full, 3-2. Left-hander ready in the pitch. High a ball, he walked it. 5th walk issued to Milwaukee today. Then Gander walked in the 3rd. Molitor walked. Darrell Hamilton hit it to a double play, made it a 2-1 ball game, but then on a 2-2 pitch, Yount hit a 2-run homer. And the Brewers have been out in front ever since. Davis gave up 5 runs in 4 1/3. Long charged with 4 earned runs in 1 2/3, 4 unearned. Here's the pitch. Inside a ball. But I've got to believe, Del, that Long's record will have 5 earned runs, the team only 4. Because when you give up a home run, even after errors, there's a rule.
Yours,
it's yours, yeah. So Long gave up 5 earned runs. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 2 to Gantner. Gantner with a perfect day. He's walked once, singled twice, and he has scored all 3 times. Here's the pitch. Inside a ball.
it's like he's really aiming the ball now,
Yes.
Lauren. He's not free and easy. These are important games, no matter what the score is, 13-2. The White Sox not in it right at the moment, but important games for pitchers like Rosenberg.
Here's the delivery. Swing and a foul. Well, Bittiger really helped himself last night with that great outing. And again, you got a guy like Jeff Bittiger who's been a starter all of his life. And that's an adjustment.
Rosenberg just needs to show somebody, show the White Sox that he can get people out.
2-2 pitch to the left-handed hitter. And he fouls it off. He got up and in on him.
If he can do that, it's would be very important for Jim Fregosi. He would have a couple of left-handers out in the bullpen, one that he can rely on to go in fairly short, go in the 7th, 8th, and maybe even the 9th inning in Horton. And he can use this youngster if he can prove he can get people out earlier than that in the ball game.
He was warming up in that 3rd inning. Here's the delivery, and it's high, ball 3. Second straight hitter he's had a full count on. And then he also warmed up in the 4th. Came on in the 6th.
White Sox, of course, starting the season without a left-hander in the bullpen, as Horton was a starter at that time.
Walker not holding the runner on. Schroeder probably will not be going. He's not. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled back. 15,445 here today. The 3-game series with the Brewers drew 60,380. 20,128 for an average. So the Brewers beat the Tiger fans coming down by only 1,751 in the 3-game weekend series. Here's the delivery. Swing and a chopper up the middle. Donnie Hill with it, throws to second for 1. No relay, no chance, and Hill looked like that ball was going to bound up right through to center field, but he leaped up and grabbed it got it to Manrique for the force out, and there's one down.
Catching the ball was probably the easiest part of that play after he finally got to it, because it was a nice high hopper, but he really was running hard and running probably right directly at the left fielder Reedus as he was going in that direction, and without a chance to stop himself, he was able to kind of toss the ball back behind him and make a good throw to Manrique for the force.
It was Oberkfell who got the base hit, a single, pulled it to right with 2 out in the 9th to spoil Mike Scott's bid for a no-hitter. Here's the delivery and a strike call to Castillo. Juan Castillo played here on the first game of the series, went 0 for 4, did not get the ball out of the infield. Hitting .250 for the year. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Molitor, when he was in there, went 3 for 3, scored 2 runs, drove in a run, had a single, a double, and a triple. He also walked.
Lauren, all the publicity that Scott has received over the last couple of years as far as cheating is concerned, you'd think that he would have really cheated with Oberkfell if he did it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's for sure. Here's the delivery. And it's outside the ball. They say they don't accuse you of cheating when you get beat.
No.
Well, I'll tell you, what a great guy Mike Scott is, and he really did not have a lot when he was with the New York Mets, when I was with the Mets back in '82. But he came up with that split-finger pitch. Here's the pitch, tap, foul to the left side. Let's pause 10 seconds for identification on the Chicago White Sox radio network. A ball and 2 strikes. Not to say Mike couldn't pitch, but he just had trouble winning.
Yeah, they said he had a good arm.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. Here's the pitch outside, 2-2.
But that didn't help him much because he couldn't get the ball over the plate consistently, and then all of a sudden came up with a fork ball, and that seemed to increase his confidence. Now he's able to get his fastball over the plate.
2-2 delivery on the way. High ball 3, third straight hitter that Rosenberg has had a full count on. Cincinnati hit the Giants with 5 in the 2nd. They lead 5-0 at the end of 2. Houston won that game 5-0, a one-hitter by Mike Scott over Atlanta. 3-2 pitch. Jammed him, and he fouls it back. It'll be into the seats behind the Brewers dugout.
Cincinnati scored 6 in the 8th inning yesterday, I think, to beat the Giants, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost the opener, but they really have played well. Montreal with 3 in the 9th, 1 in the 10th, defeat the Mets 4-3, make that 1 in the 11th to win their 4th in a row. The Mets have now dropped 5 straight. Go get him, Buck Rogers. Well, what a good manager Buck Rogers is.
Dennis.
Outstanding job.
Great job there at Montreal.
Here's the pitch, swing and a foul, and he's done it without a whole lot of talent.
Well, at least it's not publicized very much, is it? Maybe because it's Montreal. Galarraga's having an outstanding year, of course.
And he got Galarraga when he was just a kid.
Yep.
He's really developed.
Yep.
Joe Sparks doing a great job at Indianapolis with their AAA club, priming those guys for the big leagues. Here's a swing and a foul to the right side. Sparks did a great job in this organization when he was with the White Sox. Went up the ladder with his players in Duluth and Appleton and Knoxville and Iowa. Put a lot of youngsters in the big leagues for the White Sox back in the 70s.
They are very, very important people to an organization.
Here's the pitch, swing and a foul. But I guess Joe's problem was they said he was too concerned with winning. But he was concerned with developing and winning at the same time.
Well, I think they can go hand in hand, but you better be careful as to how you approach it, because if the people up in the front office feel as though that's your primary goal is to win, then you're not standing on the right foot, because your primary goal down there is to develop.
The 3-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a pop-up on the right side. Walker going back. Donnie Hill going back. Donnie Hill catches it, falls down, drops the ball, throws to second, not in time.
Well, you knew it was going to be trouble because of the high sky and the wind blowing out to right field. Nobody got to it so that it looked like they were going to catch it. Donnie Hill finally did stagger in the right spot, and the ball hit right in his web, but when he fell down, the ball bounced out of his glove.
Cubs leading the Cardinals 4-2 in the 9th. It's going to go as a hit for Castillo.
Castillo says thank you very much.
So Gantner's at second. That'll bring Hamilton to the plate. 0 for 4 today. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield, but he's credited with 2 RBIs. But you got to come up with those infield outs with runners in scoring position. Here's the pitch. And a strike called.
Well, Hill had a play to force Gantner at second base, but he just couldn't get off of the ground and make a good, strong throw while he was on his knee. He tried to get the ball to Manrique. The throw was a little offline and also a little late.
1 strike to Hamilton. Here's the pitch. Swinging a chopper to second. Could be 2. On to Manrique to first. Double play. Second double play that Hamilton's hit into here today. And that retires the side. No runs. 1 hit, 1 man left on. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Fans on their feet here at Comiskey Park as the Brewers lead it 13-2 on the White Sox radio network. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Donnie Hill will lead it off 0 for 1. Boy, Dan August really was not impressive the first 2 innings, but once he got that double play ball trailing 2-0 with 2 on and 1 out in the second, he has been sensational. Plus his offense has come to his aid by coming up with 13 runs after that. He's allowed 5 base runners to get on since the second, 4 of them getting on after 2 outs. And the first pitch to Donnie Hill is over for a strike. We mentioned he threw a good ball game at Seattle the other night. Gave up 2 runs, only 1 earned. Right-hander ready in the pitch. And it's outside the ball. It'll be Donnie Hill, Gary Reedus, and Steve Lyons. Right-hander ready in the delivery. High, a ball, 2-1. White Sox leave in the morning. Go to Minnesota for 3 games. It'll be Melito Perez against Les Straker tomorrow night. Here's the delivery. Swing and a foul. Dave LaPointe against Bert Blyleven on Tuesday night. And on Wednesday, Jack McDowell against Johnny Undecided. In the interim, the Brewers, or at the same time, I should say, the Brewers go home to host Seattle for 3. Now we have a lot of Brewer fans listen when these 2 clubs meet. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Give you the Brewers rotation. Wegman against Campbell tomorrow. Filer against Moore Tuesday. Higuera against Langston on Wednesday. Then the White Sox go to Milwaukee. Thursday night, it'll probably be Royce against Bosio. And then probably, if Joe Davis will start, Davis against August on Saturday. Here's the pitch. And it's low ball. And then probably Wegman against Perez on Saturday. We're just guessing now on the Milwaukee series. Here's the delivery to Reedus, and he fouls it back 1-1. And then on next Sunday afternoon, LaPointe would pitch for the White Sox. He started out in the Brewer organization. Here's the pitch, slapped deep into left center field. Way back. And this ball is caught right at the wall near the 382 marker. Beyond it, as a matter of fact, by Jeff Leonard. By Reedus, caught at the warning track. Gary had a single and a double today. He's now 2 for 4. And that brings Steve Lyons to the plate. Lyons 2 for 3. Tell you, they've done a good job on Baines here today. In fact, in this entire series, as Lyons fouls it off. Harold had a runner at third, 1 out in the second, runner at first, nobody out in the third, 2 on, 2 out in the fifth, and they not allowed him to get the ball out of the infield on all 3 occasions. Here's the pitch, high outside the ball. A 1-1 pitch. And it gets beyond Lyons. Inside, back to the screen, 2-1. Now, Don August has been impressive outside the first couple of innings, but there have been many pitcher in the history of the game that struggled early and then, as Satchel Paige would say, got their mojo working. And that has been the case with young Mr. August here this afternoon. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the sad thing with Joel Davis, he, in the second inning, had retired the side in order, struck out a pair, got a man to hit one back to the mound. But then, a single, back-to-back walks. Here's the pitch, fouled off down the left side as the Brewers loaded the bases in the third, and they came around with 3 with a big blow, a 2-run homer by Robin Yount. Two balls, 2 strikes. Right-hander ready, and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Second strikeout for Perry today. And that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. Second time he's put the Sox down in order. So we go to the 8th. Brewers leading 13-2 on the White Sox radio network. We go to the 8th inning. Milwaukee leading 13-2. The White Sox have already won the series. They had a chance for a 3-game sweep. Still do, but it's getting late. And the Sox trail by 11. It'll be Robin Yount, the designated hitter, Jeff Leonard, and Adduci. Yount with a single, a homer, and a double, and he has also walked. He's 3 for 3, 3 runs scored, and he's driven in a pair with his 8th home run of the year. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Rosenberg delivers, fastball, strike, evens the count, 1-1. Got it down around the knees. In that last inning, August, who had struck out only 1, struck out a pair as the pitch is over for a strike to Yount. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and it's low. 2-2 the count. First game, Rosenberg pitched. He went 2 innings. Then he went 1 1/3. Then he went a third last night. He's pitched 1 1/3 here today with a walk and a strikeout. Here's the pitch, fouled off to the left side, and he's given up 2 hits, no runs. Two balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff man. Here's the delivery. Swing to drive deep to left center field. Way back. It's going to be off the wall. Yount might have a chance for the cycle. He's going to third. He's going to make it. And Robin Yount has just hit for the cycle. A single, a double, a home run, a triple, as well as a walk. The 5-way cycle.
Well, what an afternoon for Robin Yount. Of course, this is the kind of player that he is. He is capable of doing those kinds of things offensively. And he hasn't tried to stretch anything, really. That was a legitimate triple.
Oh, yes.
As Reedus made a good try to get back there in time, as the ball was hit fairly close to that 409 sign in left center field. But he wasn't able to get the ball back into the infield. And Robin Yount, with his head down, was able to make it all the way to third. Don't see those very often, do you?
No. And that is the toughest of the 4, the triple. And the pitch to Jeff Leonard, a ball. The Cubs defeated the Cardinals 4-3 today. They swept the 3-game series from St. Louis. Here's the delivery, and it's high, a ball. So the Cubs with a 5-5 road trip. White Sox, if they cannot come back here, will wind up with a 5-5 homestand. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Molitor had a chance to hit for the cycle, but was taken out of the ball game. He needed a home run to get his. Here's the delivery inside a ball, and you say, how could you say a triple would be the toughest to get? Not a homer, but it is.
Yeah, I would have to say so. Yeah, that's a ball that stays in the ballpark where you have to try to get to third base, and when you hit a ball out of the ballpark, of course, that is the home run, so it is the toughest.
Third cycle in Milwaukee Brewer history.
Left-hander ready, and the pitch. Ball 4, he walked him on 4 straight. They report that is the third cycle. Mike Hegan did it at Tiger Stadium.
And Charlie Moore also did it in 1980.
And Charlie Moore did it back in 80. Well, I've announced at least 3. Charlie Moore doing it. Jack Brohammer doing it. Robin Yount here today. Remember, Gary Ward, as a youngster for the Twins, did it at County Stadium one day. So that's 4. Quite an accomplishment. But he's gone the whole circuit. Single, a home run, a walk, a double, and a triple. Ducey, the batter, hitting .229, swings and lost one to the left side. Reedus is there. He's got it. Yount tags up. He'll break the 13-run pool as he scores the Brewers' 14th run of the afternoon. Ducey, I should say, was hitting .207, and that is his 3rd run driven into the year. So Yount with 4 runs scored as well today. Leonard stayed at first. There's 1 out. Billy Joe Robideau. 1 for 3 today, a double. That is the first run off Rosenberg. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul to the left side. Cincinnati now leading the Giants 7-0. Cubs now 7 games behind the Mets. Cardinals 6.5 back. Here's a pitch high and inside, a ball. Montreal beating the Mets in 11. Here's the delivery. Swing and a fly ball hit to left center field. Boston went back. Now he has to race in. And he makes the catch. San Diego beating the Dodgers today 4-1. San Diego's won 3 in a row. 2 down, and with that out, that equals the longest outing of the year. Game in the bottom of the 4th at San Diego. Longest outing of the year thus far for Rosenberg. And that will bring feast or famine to the plate. Dale Swaim, he has struck out 3 times, but he has hit a 3-run homer. Rosenberg delivers a fastball outside that he fouls off. 3 home runs for the Brewers today, accounting for 7 of their runs. All 3 coming after 2 outs. Left-hander ready in the pitch. Swinging a fly ball hit to right. Calderon going back. This ball is gone. Swaim with his 2nd home run. The 4th for the Brewers. All 4 coming after 2 out. 3 of them 2-run homers. 1 3-run homer. And it's a 16-2 ball game.
Well, Swaim took advantage of whatever breeze is blowing as he lofted that ball up in the air, and I'm not sure that it was solely responsible for the ball going out of the ballpark because he got a pitch high away from him, and it sounded good coming off the bat, but in any event, made it to the seats.
Blowing out today at 15 miles an hour. Well, it's good for both clubs. Yes, the White Sox have not taken advantage of it.
Boy, when you
because of the pitching by August.
When you said feast or famine, you weren't kidding, were you?
It's a 3-run homer, a 2-run homer, and has struck out 3 times. Well, you can live with those kind of stats as Schroeder hits one to center field. Boston is there. He has it, and that retires the side. The Brewers come up with 3 runs on 2 hits, And as we go to the bottom of the 8th, Milwaukee leading 16-2 on the White Sox radio network. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Brewers leading 16-2. Just talking to Bob Uecker, and he did a great job working with these Brewer hitters late into the night after last night's ball game. They had scored only 1 earned run in 2 ball games, but they have come up with 16 runs on 16 hits here today.
He taught them all that he knew. It didn't take very long, did it?
Said take advantage of the wind. Well, the wind not a factor, maybe one of the balls, but as I said earlier, the White Sox have not taken advantage of it. August has done a great job. Here's a pitch, base hit for Baines. 4th time up for Harold, leads it off with a hit. First time he had been up without anybody on base.
Now they better think about getting this youngster out of there before he gets himself hurt. That was a ball hit hard by Harold over the right shoulder of the young pitcher, and they're trying to get him through this ball game, I guess, for a complete ball game. Of course, he has a big lead, but not really throwing the ball very well right now.
I tell you, it'd be tough not to complete this game. Here's the pitch, throw strikes. That was a good one, a fastball on the outside corner to Calderon. Ivan 1 for 3 today, an RBI single. Right-hander ready in the pitch. And in the dirt, Schroeder can't find it. Baines not going anywhere, and the count 1-1.
I think that was a nice play by the home plate umpire, Hirschbeck, as the ball got through the legs of the catcher but hit the shin guard of the umpire.
Giving him an assist. That was a pad save. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss on a good breaking ball. I'll tell you, if he's getting tired, 2 of these 3 pitches to Calderon have been outstanding.
Yeah, but still making pretty good pitches.
You betcha. And they've got a right-hander up in the bullpen. Here's the delivery. And it's low and away, 2-2. The hit by Baines, the first since the 3rd inning that led off an inning. All the rest of the hits, the other 3, coming after 2 outs. Right-hander ready in the pitch. Swinging a foul to the left side.
Being a sinker ball pitcher, when you get tired as a sinker ball pitcher, sometimes your sinker is able to drop just a little bit more. You don't have a tendency to overthrow. You just go through your delivery, and if you have that natural sinker delivery, the ball can start to sink a little bit more as you get tired.
Here's the delivery. Inside a ball. If things stand as they are right now, the Brewers will have outscored the White Sox 19-8 in the series.
However,
don't mean a thing. Sox winning the first 2 games 1-0 and 5-3 to take the series. Here's the pitch, and it hit his bat, got in on him. Right back to August. He has it, throws to first on the play. Baines goes to second. Fans booing Calderon. He just got eaten up, couldn't get the bat out of the way, and it hit his bat, trickled out to the mound, and he is out 1-3.
Well, that's that sinker that was not very well thrown by the right-hander, but Calderon, in trying to get the bat out of the way and take it for ball 4, the ball hit right off the handle and just dribbled out toward the pitcher.
Greg Walker, the batter. Greg 0 for 3 today. Fouls one off back to the left side. He has hit one to the 3rd baseman, the 2nd baseman, and the shortstop. Tomorrow night we'll be at Minnesota. Melito Perez 5-2 going against Les Straker 2-3. First of a 7-game road trip. Here's the pitch. And a breaking ball strike at the outside corner. Walker in the hole, 0-2. Rita's Boston and Lions today, each with 2 hits. White Sox have had their share of hits, 9, but a third of those coming after 2 down. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss, struck him out with an excellent breaking ball. He has struck out 4, 3 in the last inning and 2/3.
Well, a pitch that had quite a bit of break on it, a curveball, it was there for Walker to hit, but the movement was such that Walker just not able to stay with it and make contact.
Darrell Boston, the batter. Darrell 2 for 3 today with a run scored, also a stolen base. Here's the delivery, and it's up letter high in the outside corner for a strike. Well, a week from today, it'll be the annual Bill Veeck Memorial Run for Misericordia. Here's the pitch, swing, and a fly ball hit to right center field. Coming on is Hamilton. He's there, and he has it to retire the side. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We go to the 9th. The Brewers leading 16-2 on the White Sox Radio Network. We go to the 9th inning. Jimmy Gantner, with almost a perfect day, steps up. He has walked, he has singled twice, and forced a man out. 2 for 3 with that walk, and he has scored 3 runs. Steve Rosenberg has pitched 2 1/3 innings here today, his longest outing of the year. He has allowed 3 runs on 3 hits. Brewers with 4 home runs today, 3 2-run homers, 1 3-run homer, all coming after 2 outs, and they lead 16-2. Brewers now with 50 home runs for the year. Left-hander ready, and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit to center field. Darrell Boston is there, drifting back, and the wind carries it right to the edge of the track. And there's 1 down. Telling you about the Bill Veeck Memorial Run for Misericordia next Sunday. 8 o'clock in the morning, 55th Street off South Lakeshore Drive in Hyde Park. 10,000-meter run, 6.2 miles. Different classes, 12 and under, all the way up to 60 and over. Always a great event. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball hit to the right side. Brewers look like they want to go home as Castillo goes after the first pitch. Grounds out to second, 2 up, 2 down. For more information, call Petey Lyon, Jerry Lyon at Misericordia, 973-6300. Or get your entry blanks there in Hyde Park at TJ's Restaurant. Darrell Hamilton, the batter. He is 0 for 5 today with 2 runs driven in.
Had it been for him, this could have been a long afternoon.
Here's the pitch. And a strike called.
He's made some outs, hasn't he? Hit into 2 double plays. Of course, he's also driven in a couple of runs with 2 infield outs.
Also, if you could get an RBI in a double play, which you can, he would have had 3 RBIs. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield, and he has struck out. But they think a lot of this young man, only in his 3rd year of pro ball in the big leagues. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, and the fact that he can run, it's amazing that he's hit into 2 double plays.
Yes.
But sometimes guys don't get out of the box that quick, whether they're right-handed hitters or left-handed hitters.
Yeah, well, they were kind of tailor-made, too. That was
Yes.
easy
Yes.
plays and easy to turn.
Not knocking the young man, exactly, right. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a foul on a play to the left side. Looks like he has a tendency, though, to lunge at the ball.
A young hitter. Looks like that he doesn't stay back quite as much as you would like him to as a hitting instructor, but once again, looks like he has a good stance and excellent talent.
Raw talent that will be honed as he looks at a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brewers have only gone down in order once today. That was in the 2nd inning. Sox then went to the 3rd with a 2-0 lead. Here's the pitch. Inside. Full count. Rosie has thrown a lot of pitches.
Sure has. Working on his 3-2 delivery, hasn't he?
Here's the pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit to right. Calderon is there. Fighting the sun. He's got it. And the fans in derision give him a big hand. He had trouble out there, and a few balls off the wall. And the Brewers go down in order. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. The White Sox trailing 16-2 on the White Sox Radio Network. Mark Salas will lead it off for the White Sox as we enter the ninth inning. White Sox trailing here by a score of 16-2. Mark 0 for 2 today, walked his last time up as Dan August trying to record his first major league complete game. Not only a complete game, but a complete game victory. He has a 14-run lead as he misses high outside, ball 1.
It should help him, shouldn't it?
I would think.
14-run lead.
Smack foul down the right side. Well, we have a player of the game after the game. I guess we can't name Robin Yount. Or Dan August. Robin, the third Brewer in history to hit for the cycle. As he misses outside a ball, couldn't happen to a nicer man.
I second that.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a high pop-up. Shallow right center. Hamilton coming on. He's there. And he makes the catch. Had a little trouble with the wind as well as the sun, but he hung in there and got it. 1 out. Ozzie Guillen was in the ball game. He batted in this 8th spot. He went 1 for 3. Manrique came on for him in the 7th. So Freddie batting for the first time today. Here's the delivery. And it's a ball. I'll tell you what's tough. Yount did it in 4 official at-bats. Here's the delivery, and it's chopped to third. Castillo with it. Throws across. 2 down. Here in the 9th. Walked once. Robin did. Donnie Hill, the batter. Donnie 0 for 2 today. Has walked, grounded out, struck out his last time up. Here's the delivery, and it's low ball. White Sox with only 1 extra base hit today. That was the leadoff man in the first. Reedus swinging a grounder to short. This will be the ball game. Swain throws him out, and this game is over as the Brewers win it today by a score of 16-2. But the White Sox win the series 2-1. We'll be back with the totals right after this on the White Sox Radio Network. The Brewers salvage a game of this 3-game series, and did they ever, as they beat the White Sox today 16-2. After trailing 2-0, they got 3 in the 3rd, 6 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, and closed it off with 3 in the 8th for the victory. For Milwaukee, 16 runs, 16 hits, no errors, 4 left. The White Sox, 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 7 left. Don August, the winner. He is 2-1, his first complete game victory in the major leagues. Davis, the loser, 0-1. Robin Yount with a 2-out, 2-run homer that gave the Brewers a 3-2 lead back in the 3rd. Gets credit for his second game-winning RBI of the year in a game that, in reality, considering you've had 18 runs scored on a total of 25 hits, still was a short game. 3 hours and 2 minutes.
White Sox didn't take too much time, though.
No. Thank heavens for a couple of double plays on the other side. But at any rate, the Brewers won it 16-2. They hit 4 home runs today, all of them coming after 2 out. 3 2-run homers and a 3-run homer, and the man of the hour, August, of course. And offensively, Robin Yount in 4 official at-bats hit for the cycle. A single, a double, a triple, and a home run. Drove in a pair, got the game-winning RBI. On the White Sox side of the ledger, Reedus had 2 hits, Lyons 2 hits, and Boston 2 hits. Darrell with 2 hits, a run scored, and a stolen base. So our White Sox player of the game here this afternoon for Miller Lite and WMAQ is Darrell Boston. A $100 donation on behalf of Darrell will go to benefit the Shy Sox kids in the fight against terminal illness in children, courtesy of Miller Lite. We'll be back right after this. Well, today's sure winner in the WMAQ Sherwin-Williams Sure-Win contest was Joe Berry of Monmouth, Illinois. Sorry, Joe, the White Sox didn't win for you, but you'll still receive a $10 Sherwin-Williams gift certificate. Join the Sure Winners. Stop by any Sherwin-Williams store, fill out an entry blank, or send a postcard with your name, address, home and work phone number to WMAQ All News 67 Sure-Win contest, Merchandise Mart Plaza, Chicago, Illinois, 60654. Entries must be received by September the 11th. Be a sure winner with Sherwin-Williams and WMAQ All News 67. Well, Del, there's not a whole lot you can say about a game when you get whomped 16-2, but if you're going to get beat, I'd sooner have it 16-2 than 1-0 in 10 as the White Sox beat the Brewers on Friday night. Those are a little tougher to take.
Yeah, they are. But you have used the phrase many, many times, turn the page, and that's exactly what the White Sox have to do. They had a good series here, winning 2 out of 3, and the Brewers just had their hitting shoes on here this afternoon. One of the things that is important to the White Sox as this season continues is hopefully that Steve Rosenberg, a left-hander who was called up from the minor leagues, can start doing a good job for the White Sox. I know that trying to impress people, he could still be just a little bit nervous. He needs to relax and go out there and use the stuff that has gotten him as far as he has come so far, because a left-hander to help out Rick Horton, another left-hander in the pen, could really be useful to Jim Fregosi and the White Sox.
Yeah, the White Sox hit the road, and ironically, on the road, they are 10-13. Here at home, 16-20. So just a difference of one game. Who knows? That might help get him on track. But the White Sox head for Minnesota. Had a good homestand. They started out losing their first 2, came back to win 5 out of 7 before losing here today, and wind up with a homestand of 5 victories and 5 defeats. So now a 7-game road trip on to Minnesota and Milwaukee. We'll talk more about that right after this on the White Sox Radio Network. In the National League today, the Cubs swept the Cardinals 3 straight as they nipped St. Louis 4-3. Maddox the winner, 11-3. Tudor the loser, 2-2. Smith had the only home run of the game for St. Louis, his second of the year. Crowd of 48,000 plus in St. Louis. So the Cubs win 3 in a row. They conclude their road trip like the White Sox here on this homestand, winning 5 and losing 5. Philadelphia defeated the Pirates today 5-4 to take that series 2 out of 3. Gross the winner, Fisher the loser, Bedrosian the save. Montreal with 3 in the 9th tied the Mets. They got a run in the 11th and defeated New York 4-3. Burke over Leach. Galarraga, his 16th home run of the year, a 3-run blow in the 9th inning to tie that game. Montreal's won 4 in a row. The Mets have dropped 5 straight. The big news in the National League, Mike Scott, or all of baseball for that matter, had a no-hitter with nobody on, 2 out in the 9th inning, and a base hit by Ken Oberkfell of Atlanta broke it up. But Scott got the shutout, a 5-0 one-hitter. He's now 7-2. Mailer, the loser, he is 7-6. San Diego trying to win their 4th in a row and sweep the Dodgers. Lead L.A. 5-1 at the end of 6. Cincinnati on a roll, 5 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, and they lead the Giants by a score of 10-0 at the end of 5. In the American League, the Yankees blew a 3-run lead as Baltimore got 3 runs in the 8th inning, 2 on a home run by Eddie Murray, his 8th, but the Yankees came back with a run in the 9th, Claudell Washington driving it home to beat Baltimore 6-5. Wante the winner, Niedenfuhr the loser. Detroit swept the Cleveland Indians 4 straight, 5-4. Luis Salazar, a 2-run homer, his 6th. Carter hit his 12th with a man on for the Indians. Tanana the winner, Bales the loser. Henneman got his 13th save. Boston had lost 6 in a row to Toronto over the last 2 weekends, but they put an end to it today as they got 5 in the 1st en route to an 8-2 victory over the Blue Jays. Boyd the winner, Cerruti the loser. Greenwell his 8th home run of the year. Out on the West Coast, Kansas City beating the California Angels by a score of 4-2. You talk about poetic justice. Wally Joyner hit a 2-run homer in the first inning to give the Angels a lead, but the Royals came back with 3, and Bill Buckner, who had been released by California, hit a home run in that inning, and they also got another run in the 4th. And now in the bottom of the 7th, Kansas City 4, California 2. Minnesota at Seattle in the rubber match of their 3-game series. That's a 4-game series, and it is tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Randy Bush with his 6th home run of the year for the Twins. Lee going against Swift. And tonight, Charlie Huff, who beat Oakland 4 straight last year, goes for Texas against Oakland and Dave Stewart. Well, the White Sox hit the dusty trail. 3 games in Minnesota, 4 in Milwaukee, as they end this series and the homestand. Well, they win the series 2-1 and end the homestand at 5-5 as the Brewers won the final game 16-2. Sox head to Minnesota, where tomorrow night they will send Melito Perez 5-2 against Les Straker 2-3. We'll be on the air with you. It's a 7 o'clock game in Minnesota, Chicago time, so we'll be on the air with you at 6:50 Chicago time with our pregame programming, then game time at 7:05. So on behalf of our engineer, Eddie Murphy, my partner, Del Crandall, Lauren Brown back at Comiskey Park, where the Brewers defeated the White Sox today 16-2. Remember, keep that dial set and your socks on, the Chicago White Sox radio network station.